I just wake up in the morning and I yell a lot, even though it's way too early. It's fun though. Wake up, wake up, wake up! Wake up, wake up, wake up. What is up? Talk to me right now. Talk to me right now. I know that you guys in the chat are here. Shout out to everybody who is here in the chat. See here. Let's go check you guys out. I am John Greaves III. I'm the founder of Garage Gym Life, and this is a Garage Gym Life production. Way too early for a Friday morning show. We are live and ready to go. I see my guy Carlos says rise and grind. What's up, my man? What's up? Even though you are on the West Coast, I'm sorry. Wow. Even though you are in Central Time Zone, I don't know how I moved Houston to the West Coast. Even though you're in Central Time Zone, my man, thank you for waking up with all of us here on the East Coast. If this is your first time watching this show, welcome. I am John Greaves III, as I said, and this show is designed to get your weekend started. This is fitness content that is actually fun, and I think you guys can really enjoy it. So go ahead, hit that like button for me, and I want you to, if you really like it, go ahead and hit subscribe. I'm trying to get to 50,000 subscribers, and I can only do it if you guys help me. And if you've already subscribed, please take a second and share the video with somebody else who you think might enjoy this sort of content. Like I said, we have a good time, and we are here bright and early every Friday at 6 a.m. And this party is going to roll until today is going to roll until 9:45 because my last guest, Andy Downs from Bremmy Products, is going to join the show at 9:05 to talk about his brand. And that's actually a great segue for me to tell you guys what's on the show. So first hour, which is now, we're going to, we start off by telling everybody, good morning. So we're going to give a shout out to every time zone when it's 6 a.m. for them. So Central Time, Mountain Time, and Pacific Time Zone, we're going to shout them out. We're going to have news and other things. That's going to be our first segment. I've only got a couple of news items, but one news item actually segues into something I'm going to talk about a little bit later on in the show. All right, it's kind of fluid today. All right, then at 6:30, we're going to have our Recliner of Rage. I'm mad again. But you knew that, right? It's been 7 days since I've been able to unburden my soul before y'all, so I'm mad. And I've been building up 7 days of rage. So I'm mad again. I'll tell you guys why. Then at 6:55, we're going to do 5 minutes of fitness tech. And this is going to be, obviously it's 5 minutes, so it's going to be pretty quick. But we're really just going to talk about whether seated ellipticals are good. I know a lot of you guys who are on right now with me work from home. And the thing with people who work from home is that it's always difficult to get the necessary activity. It's actually harder than it is if you go to an office. So if you work from home, it's always tough to get activity. Well, are seated ellipticals the way to go, or are they a waste of your money? We're going to talk about that. Then first guest is, then at 7:05, we're going to have Will Whitman from HomeGrown Lifting. He's going to join us, and he's going to be talking about what's going on with his brand. We're going to be giving essentially an update because Will was on here before home Gym Con. So it's been a minute since I had a chance to catch up with Will. And then at 8:05, that's where things start to get weird. Okay. You know what's going to happen. At 8:05, we're going to get weird. So we're going to do, I've had people actually ask me about Free for All Friday. Well, the only way I could do it, I told you guys that I have a guest at 9 o'clock. And normally I do Free for All Friday at 9 o'clock. But you guys said you wanted Free for All Friday. So we're going to move it up an hour. So Free for All Friday is going to be at 8:05. But we're on a time hack. Okay. So we're going to go from 8:05 to 8:55 at the latest, absolute latest. We might end at 8:45, but 8:55 at the absolute latest, because we're going to have to end so that we can bring Andy on at 9 o'clock, and he has enough time to talk about his brand. I want to give him the attention that he deserves. And then that's going to be pretty much the show. And all right, so that's pretty much it for the rundown. Let's jump back into the live chat, see what you guys got going on, see who's here. My guy Jared is here. Jared Martin says, good morning. Jared, I think Jared is one of our work from home guys. So regardless, Jared has one of the nicest home gyms I've ever seen. Literally one of the nicest home gyms I've ever seen. So you guys make sure that you tune in for that you're here for that. If I can ever talk him into just giving us a full home gym tour one day. And then Carlos, boy, it's Carlos. He said, I'm straight out of something. That is accurate. That is accurate. You definitely are located somewhere. Let's just say that. Some of y'all may not know. Actually, let's just slow down right there, because the last time I was talking to Carlos, and this is crazy because I was talking to Carlos and and we were talking about James Earl Jones. We're talking about Star Wars, actually. We're talking about Star Wars and talking about Darth Vader and talking about the guy who most of you probably already know this, but just in case you don't, the guy who played Darth Vader, right? Who was actually in the Darth Vader costume, is not the guy whose voice you hear, right? So I always thought that James Earl Jones had gotten in shape and was wearing the Darth Vader costume. And then it wasn't until I was an adult, well into adulthood, that I discovered there was a bodybuilder named David Prowse who actually played the physical role of Darth Vader. He's dressed in a costume. But what I didn't know, and I found out earlier this week, is David Prowse didn't find out that they were replacing his voice with James Earl Jones until later. And when I say later, I mean this dude was like emoting. He was doing all the lines, everything. And then he gets to the movie theater. I'm sure he's told his family and friends, hey, I'm in a movie. Just think about what you would do, right? I'm in this movie. I've got a pretty good role. I'll play the villain. You guys come check me out. And remember, there's no social media because this is in the 70s, 1977. He goes to the movie theater, and that's when he first hears James Earl Jones's voice come out when Darth Vader starts talking, right? Now, that just struck me as, it's kind of sad, but it's also funny because I'm like, can you imagine you tell all your friends and family, hey, I'm in a movie, and you get them all hyped up to go to this movie with you, get to the movie, and hold on a second. Whose voice is that, right? And then you're trying to convince them that that's actually you. But in the first Star Wars, Darth Vader never takes his mask off, never takes the helmet off. So they basically got to take your word for it that it's you. Well, anyway, so we were talking about that. And then it's crazy because James Earl Jones, so I go to sleep, and then I wake up and James Earl Jones passed away. So I was talking to Carlos on my way home from work. So it was like 6 a.m. for me. It was like maybe 7 a.m. for me. And I go to sleep and I wake up and James Earl Jones had passed away. And Carlos messaged me and said, hey, we were talking about James Earl Jones, and he passed away. So rest in peace to James Earl Jones. And that was just crazy. Like the world is the way I'm in my 50s, and it's just crazy to me. Like I don't think about it that I'm in my 50s until something like this happens, and somebody who I knew, somebody who I knew that was an adult, say when I was a kid, passes away, and then it's like, oh wow. So like when Prince passed away, Michael Jackson passed away, I'm like, whoa, I'm getting older. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Anyway, I thought of all of that. That was today's first story time with Grandpa, and that's. If you're new here, you'll get tangents like that all the time. Just like if you were in a public gym, you'd have that one guy that you end up talking to. You actually end up wasting half your workout time just talking instead of lifting. All right, well, that's what I just gave you. Okay. All right, let's go back to the comment section. Kurt Locker is here. What's up to the Statty Daddy? Kurt is actually going to be with us next week. He's going to be giving us an update on the Strongman Throwdown at next year's Home Gym Con. So I'm looking forward to that. You guys make sure that you come back for that. Jared says he takes a lot of pride in this space. Both Kurt and I are big fans of it. And so is Coach Carp. Carp said that Jared Martin just rebuilt a nice new deck on his house. Hey, look at that. That it looks like, Jared might be. I was kidding when I said everybody could just stay with Jared at Home Gym Con, but looks like he took us seriously. He's got a new deck put on the house. So we're all gonna take turns, finding spots to sleep in his gym. So it looks like it's gonna be a good time next year. All right. And said, fun fact, James Earl Jones was the first celebrity guest on Sesame Street. Yes, he was. Man, that dude, I was an adult when The Lion King came out, so it wasn't quite as, like, I had kids when The Lion King came out, right? So it wasn't like as impactful for me because my kids, I mean, they liked it, but they weren't like, this is the greatest thing ever. I probably liked it more than they did. Like, how, like, when you're a parent, there's some movies or shows that you want your kids to like. So you're like, oh, this is really great. You get all excited. But I mean, like, personally, as far as it personally being impactful, nah, not really. I just thought it was ironic that it was The Lion King is basically a movie about Africa, but James Earl Jones is the only black dude on the cast. But I digress. Yes, he was the king, and Carp said he was the king in Lion King, and he was in Coming to America. Oh, Joffrey, that's right. Man, it's like I said, man, he was like so much of, I know this is not technically fitness, but it kind of is because he passed away. He was 93 years old. So just think about how long a life that guy had. He was able to, as far as I know, he was pretty healthy and vibrant up until the last couple of years of his life. So that's why we do all this, so that we can live long enough to, well, actually, you don't do this to live longer because you're going to live as long as you're going to live. What I want is to live and enjoy life the entire time. Like, I don't want to be in a wheelchair for 60 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not about that. Let's see. Jared Martin. Hey, give me the thumbs up. That means everybody's going to Jared's house at Home Gym Con. And our guy, Jay. All right, Jay is here now. So we can go ahead and get started with the other portion of the show, because I said we're going to be doing home gym news and other things. And part of that is an update on Jay's home gym. We're going to be talking about that. All right, we're definitely going to be talking about now. So now everybody in the chat is just, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. If you're listening on Podbean to the audio version, you got to come to YouTube if this is a replay, and the chat will be saved. And so everybody go ahead but you can still put comments, right? So if you're watching this on replay, put your comments. If you just want to kind of see what everybody put in the chat, go ahead and come back. So, all right, go ahead, put in the chat whatever your favorite James Earl Jones role was. It's fine if it's the same as somebody else's. I just want to see kind of like what you guys remember. Like, for me, my favorite is Darth Vader, because that's the first thing that was really impactful for me. And then I liked him in The Lion King. I liked him. So Coming to America obviously came out before The Lion King. So that was like the next thing for me. I was like, oh, he's the dad in Coming to America. So The Lion King would be like the third one for me, right? All right. So let's see here. All right, let's go ahead. And so you guys just keep on throwing that in there. Hey, my cousin April here. She said, King Joffrey. That's right. Hey, April, how you doing? Yeah, like I said, when he, I just remember old Joffrey. Anyway, yeah, that was my favorite. Let's see here. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go right into our first segment, which is news and other things. All right, so news and other things. First thing we're going to talk about is, as I said, we're going to do 619 Drivers Home Gym. So he gave me an update, and I appreciate it. First of all, I was really, really glad because Jay was going through some stuff, man. I'm not going to talk about everything he emailed me, but my man was unhappy because his rep fitness, his bench hadn't showed up, right? My man was hot, okay? Hot with 2 T, hot with 3 T's, HOTTT, and then some exclamation points after that. But the good news is that it did show up. So let's go ahead and his rep Black Wing did show up. So he sent those to me. So here we go. So bam, there's the rep Black Wing. So the gym is coming together. All right, you guys can see the rep Black Wing right there. He's got that standing up. Let me see. Got another picture of it. He sent me a couple more pictures of this sucker. So the first picture he sent me was this. When it was in this was like it was like this, right? So if you've never ordered it, so this is how they come. The red Blackwing shows up at his house and is like that. So Jay gets this Blackwing, and he's got like the David Goggins book down there for motivation because he's about to put this bench together. He's talking about, he said, I'm ready. He said in the email, I'm ready for war. I'm like, oh, okay, man. All right. You know, I'm pulling for you. All right. So then I went to the eye doctor, had to run some other errands, came back home. And then I got the other email from him, and it was basically I finished putting it together. So let's see here. I think I got it. There we go. So that's what it is. He said it's starting to look like a real gym. So I know a lot of people are fans of the Red Blackwing. I wasn't. I mean, I don't know. I'm still like into the. I like the AB 5200, especially the 2.0. I mean, I don't know. Like maybe if I use, maybe if I took the Blackwing side by side, because I've never used the Blackwing. So maybe if I put the Blackwing next to the AB 5200 and I use them both, I'm able to compare them. Maybe that might be like, I might say, oh, I see what they were talking about. But I'm just such a huge fan of the AB 5200 2.0 that, I mean, that's just, you know, that's my first round draft pick. You know what I mean? Second round draft pick is the Crandall Fitness adjustable bench, but that's neither here nor there. All right. I digress, to quote Louis T from Louis T Network. All right. Anyway, let's jump back here. April says, hey, cuz, hey, man, I love it. So one thing is like, you guys might hear me say, you know, like my mom is, you know, hi to my mom or something like that. Like my family is so supportive because they actually come and they'll watch the show, you know. And so I really appreciate you guys so much for all that and for jumping in and supporting me and checking out the show all the time. It really does mean a lot. Let's see here. Okay, so Jared says between Coming to America and Field of Dreams. Okay. Carp said, yeah, Field of Dreams. If you build it, it will come. There you go. And man, that is so true because that does go with home gyms. It goes with everything, you know. If you're building a small business, you know what I mean? That to me, that's what Field of Dreams is. It's like basically it's like motivation for a small business entrepreneur. You see there's an empty field with nothing, and you're like, I don't even know. You see, so everybody else sees an empty field. You see like your business idea, and you're like, man, is this a dumb idea or is this a great idea? And you don't know, right? So it's like, you just got to have faith that if you put this thing together, that people will appreciate it and they'll want to jump on it. What are you calling Cap on? Kurt says Cap. I don't know. Oh, okay. He says it's not they, it's he. Let's see here. Carp says he likes the red and black from Jay's gym. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's pull that back up here. I like that. Of course, you see that it stands up. For me now, I'm spoiled because I'm gonna kind of go through my home gym journey a little bit later on. But when we first started when I first started my home gym, there wasn't any of this vertical storage for a bench, right? Benches, basically, you were happy if it rolled around, if you could move around like it had wheels. You felt like you were doing something, right? Because my first bench in my home gym didn't have wheels. It was where it was going to be, right? And then if you had utility benches, even in the public gym where I worked from 1995 to 2001, that gym still had most of the benches didn't have wheels on them. Well, I worked in a couple of gyms. So I worked in a YMCA, and I think they only had like one utility bench that moved around. The rest of them were just because basically you didn't want people moving the benches all over the place. You wanted them to be, you know, where they were supposed to be in the station where you wanted them, because that way, you know, that's less cleanup for you at the end of the night. Because another thing we didn't have is 24-hour gyms. right? So you basically had to shut things down. I remember getting so mad because there was one dude that used to come. He ran on his tiptoes, right? He come tiptoeing in, and the gym closed at 9. This cat would come tiptoeing in at 8:45, and then try to like use everything, literally every night, use everything, and then run out, right? So of course he wasn't putting anything away, and I couldn't start really cleaning up until he left, because it wasn't just put stuff away. It's put stuff away, vacuum. I couldn't stand that dude, man. We used to, they called him Twinkle Toes. He'd be like, man, me and I was in charge of the weight room, so all the weight room guys would be like, here come Twinkle Toes. We seriously thought about, we tried closing the door early. But he complained. We got in trouble. I couldn't stand that dude. I hope wherever he is, I hope he stubs his toe right now. Anyway, in fact, let's call him Fernando. So Carlos said Conan I forgot about Conan the Barbarian. Yes, he was in Conan the Barbarian. That's right. So all right, so let's go with the order was Star Wars, that in terms of like when I saw him, right? So it's Star Wars, then Conan the Barbarian, then Coming to America. I didn't see Field of Dreams till I was an adult. So then Coming to America, and then The Lion King for me. Yeah. I mean, and I saw him in other stuff. And I knew he was in Hunt for Red October, but I never saw that movie. All right. So I knew he was in it, but I never saw it. So it didn't really have that impact on me. Let's see here. Jay said he wanted the Rogue Manta Ray, but it was out of budget. Man, I don't think that the Manta Ray, well, I haven't used the Manta Ray, but all I say is, like I told you, for me, a lot of the thing with Rogue is just the name, right? It's just people getting the name, people getting Rogue because of the name. I think that there are better ways to spend your money. Rogue has to do something. I'm not saying I don't buy their stuff. I got some Hatfield handles from Rogue downstairs right now. And, I like them. So I'll buy Rogue stuff. In fact, I've still got the Rogue Power Bar before they partnered with Westside Barbell and made the Ohio Power Bar. Rogue had their own Power Bar. I've still got, and then they had their Castro Bar, which is a deadlift bar. I had the Rogue Power Bar until last year when I gave it to somebody else, and they still have it, and they're using it. I don't know why I'm pointing over there, like they're over there. But anyway, but they still have it, and they're completely satisfied with it. So it would still be going strong. I did zero maintenance on it, never took it apart. So I think Rogue stuff lasts. And then my brother has a Rogue Monster, and it's his outdoor gym, and he's really happy with it. He's had that thing forever, like over 10 years. It's been outdoors in the elements. He had a tarp on it. It's going through. We had ice storm. Actually, so let me see. It survived. We had a very bad ice storm here in 2012. Actually, a series of them, and it survived that. Survived some tornadoes. And yeah, he's doing. His so that. I have a high opinion of the Rogue Monster line, even though it's not technically designed for outdoors. He's using it outdoors, and now his gym still doesn't really have a roof and wall. I mean, it still doesn't really have walls. It's got a roof, but no walls. And it's surviving the elements just fine. It still looks really, really good. So I'm not saying this stuff isn't durable. I'm just saying, like, I'm not overly impressed with Rogue. Just I think a lot of times people buy it just because of the name. Home Gym Tech Support. Hey, my man, Dennis. Dennis, the answer to your question is yes, we are doing Free for All Friday. That's going to be at the 8 o'clock hour, 8:05 Eastern. All right, that's when we're doing it. So if you guys want to jump into so that I'm going to share the link at that time. So if you guys want to jump into Free for All Friday, you can jump in at that time, and then I'm going to cut it off at 8:45 so that I can bring on my guy Andy from Bremmy. Let's see here. Carlos Brown. Yeah. All right. Carlos is in multiple places. He on Facebook, YouTube. How many? But Carlos has like a command center, right? He got like he's got his phone. He's got all kinds of stuff. So here we got a question for Jay. Let's pull this up. See, here's a good picture of it. So Jay, Jared wants to know which barbell you have. All right. And what kind of lifting does he like to do? So you guys can see if you're watching on Facebook or you're watching on here on YouTube. Jay has a barbell. That is a Marcy vertical plate tree that he has. I remember when he got it, and he's got some fringe port bumpers. Solid choice as far as bumper plates go. And then he's got a barbell. I don't remember which barbell he got. So all right. So there's the answer right there. Jay said it's Rogue's Ohio Power Bar in stainless, and he has a Texas deadlift bar in chrome. Ain't nothing wrong with chrome. So Carb said this and the AB 5200 are far better than most, referring to the bench, the Rep Blackwing, and it'll do whatever you need it to, and the pads and fit and finish even better. He got him a few years back, and he said they came out a few years back and they're still good back then. That's correct. Hello, USA. Hey, Matt, congratulations, man. Matt had another outstanding showing in his strongman competition. And I think you got second place overall. So congrats to you, man. That was pretty dang awesome, to be honest with you. Forget you, Fernando. Yeah, let's call that dude old Twinkle Toes. I'm call him Fernando. Coming in the dang gym knowing I got to get home. Said James Earl Jones was literally king of the world. Yeah, man. I mean, everybody liked Mufasa. Jared wants to know about Jay's home gym. Is a rack next, and so does Carp. Wants to know what's next, the power rack. I believe that I'll let Jay answer this, but I believe that the power rack is coming next. So Jay, I know you're still hanging out. So there you go. Let's go back to Matt. Matt said, yeah, he got second overall, 1 event win, 4 event second places. And he just signed up for England's strongest natural to try and qualify for Worlds. Man, that is outstanding. I still remember when you started and when you guys even before you guys built your shed gym or your back garden gym, as you guys call it in the UK. And I think, man, you've made some awesome progress in terms of your strength. I love, so you guys were selecting home gym stuff. It was like that cramped little space too. And then you built your shed gym, and it's like things are just taking off from there, man. Really proud of you. So awesome. I love watching you progress, man. He said, yes, the rack should be next. Carp says step 1 gets stall mats, but he's already got mats. He's already got mats under his, right there. He's already got mats. I'm assuming that where the bench is where the rack is going to go. But yeah, he's already got multiple stall mats, so it looks like he's good to go. I know some people don't think stall mats are good because of the smell or whatever. And this is something I'm going to go over a little bit later on. But I always bought stall mats one at a time, and I never had a problem with them because I would always get the stall mat that was on the top of the pile. So it had been outside, right? And so I never had an issue with the smell. All right. Oh, cool. All right. So Matt says that his natural deadlift world record attempt will be November 1st. Then English strongest in February may be live streamed. And he'll update us when he knows. Yeah, man, come back and give us the information, because I know we got a lot of people watching here who are going to want to support you. You know what I mean? I think it's really, really cool for you to, you're one of us, you know what I'm saying? We might make fun of you, but we won't let anybody else make fun of you because we support you, right? All right. So it is now time. You know what? I still didn't get to the news and other things. All right. Well, that was our first topic, Jay's home gym. Second topic actually relates to what I want to talk about when we do Free for All Friday, right? So I have time. Yeah, I can do it. All right. So just hold on a little bit. We are going to do Recliner Rage, but let's go ahead and I want to talk about it. So I was looking, I got like the standard emails and all that kind of stuff coming to me, but none of this stuff really jumped out to me. I'm not really seeing a whole ton of sales. I think things have slowed down a little bit from the summer because companies are starting to gear up for holiday stuff, right? And Black Friday and all that. It's September if you think about it. So holiday sales are right around the corner. So I think that you're going to see things slow down just a little bit. Maybe a few new items are going to be released, but I think everything is kind of like they're gearing up for the holiday to get started with that first holiday push. So I was like, I didn't really see anything worth. I mean, I saw stuff, but nothing really worth talking about. However, I saw this and I was like, at first, my instinct was to dismiss it because Lad Bible has this thing where it says it's called 8 essential items to turn your home gym into a fitness fortress. Get in shape without paying for gym memberships. So right away, you could tell that this is not geared towards us, right? You can tell that this article is not for you guys. It's for people who are new to home gym ownership. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Because we were all there once, right? But what I find, let's skip at that, skip. So that first link, that's obviously an affiliate link. Or this is either an affiliate link or it takes you to another article on the same site. I didn't click it, but I'm assuming that's what it is, right? So these are the items that they are. I'm just going to scroll down so you guys can see. These are the things they're recommending. This is all stuff from Amazon. And the reason they're recommending these things is because they get affiliate links from it, right? So they're going to make affiliate money. So the Pass You, I've never even heard of this brand, Pass You. I'm sure it's on Amazon. I'm sure if I click that link, it would take me to Amazon and I'd see all this glowing stuff about it. But I'm just telling you right now. Yeah, okay, so it says right there, Amazon. I'm telling you right now, ain't nothing about that bench that makes me have a warm and fuzzy about putting my 200 plus pounds on it and then bench pressing over 300 pounds with that being the only thing between me and getting hurt. I told you guys a while back that I had an uncle injure himself on one of these low budget benches. I don't remember what brand it was, but he injured himself pretty badly using one of these low budget benches. And it broke under him, right? And I mean, he weighs less than I do, right? So no, absolutely not. But anyway, Amazon Basics adjustable dumbbells. All right, so these are basically the same thing as the Walmart dumbbells, the adjustable dumbbells you can get, except the Walmart dumbbells have a rubberized handle, at least the ones that I got when I started my home gym, right? That's okay. Then the Pro Iron Compact Dumbbell Rack. I'm not sure why you need this dumbbell rack if you've got these handles. I really don't, because when I had these, not these specific ones, but when I had adjustable dumbbells like this, all I did is I just stacked I take the plates off the dumbbell and then I'd stack the plates and then stick the dumbbell handle down into the plates. And it was pretty, I mean, it was a lot more compact than this, right? Then there's the interlocking exercise foam mats, the old puzzle mats. I had some of those and I still have some. But now they're not on my floor. They're actually glued to my wall because we started doing, for a little bit, my kids were wrestling. And so we were wrestling down in the gym, and training wrestling down in the gym. And so they would, we had this up so that they wouldn't hurt themselves when if they happen to hit the concrete wall. But yeah, as far as flooring, trash. Let's see here. Some resistance band, this old cheap resistance band set. I don't like resistance bands of this type. I just don't like that. I just don't like them. If you're going to give me resistance bands, just give me resistance bands. And now something that's, to me, a fairly recent addition, and that's these, pulley systems. This is a Makolo pulley system. But look, if I was just starting out, or back when I was just starting out, if I seen something like this, I'd have been all over it, because they just didn't have that stuff. When I started my home gym, Spud Inc. wasn't making, and Spud Inc. was the first one to come out with this stuff, as far as I know. And when I first started, Spud Inc. wasn't making these things yet, right? So if I seen something like this back then, 2001, 2002, I'd have been all over it. This would have been awesome. Then some bumper plates. I don't know anything about this brand, but just looking at this, that don't make me want to spend any money on that. All right, I can't. I just not. I ain't about to do it. I ain't about that life. I'm gonna get some legit ones. And then look at this weight bench. $169 for a weight bench. If you're spending $169 for a weight bench, you don't love your face. Okay, you don't care nothing about your teeth, your face, your shoulders. You don't care nothing about your life. Okay, that's all I'm gonna tell you. However, again, if you're just starting out, I can see why somebody would get this if they were just starting out, because it's really easy for me with a full home gym to turn up my nose at this stuff. But when I was starting out, I was getting garbage stuff like that. I'll tell you guys about my home gym journey a little bit in a second. But man, that's really, I wish I'd have known better, but I didn't know better. So I did those things, so I don't turn my nose up at anybody, who gets that stuff. I just try to make sure that I think it's up to us to let people know what's out there. And that kind of is like my job for what I do. But I found something interesting. I was checking out Jake's Garage Gym Radio when I was on the treadmill this morning. And it was interesting to me because he said that most people, they did a survey, and I'll link to the episode. Actually, I'll give you guys a link to the episode. I'll put it in the chat right here. And if you're watching on replay, the link to this episode will be in the episode of Garage Gym Radio will be in the video description by the time you guys watch on replay. Okay. So let's see here. It's the same episode where they were talking about their budget home gym builds. Okay. So there we go. I'm gonna post it right here. So now it's in the chat, so you guys on YouTube and Facebook can see it. Anyway, it said that most people are influenced in terms of their home gym purchases by Instagram. And I'm like, but YouTube is where we tell you about stuff. Instagram is like a picture. So I'm like, so are people just buying stuff because it looks cool, but they don't? That actually explains to me why some of these lower budget racks that we see that look good but actually don't perform well, why they are doing well, because people see them and they spend a ton of money on Instagram, right? So people see those racks. I'm talking about like your Major Fitness or whatever. They see it and like, oh, this is perfect. And they'll buy it. And you're just like, why are you buying this thing, right? Well, it's because they're influenced by what they see on Instagram. And unfortunately, Instagram doesn't really allow you to go as in-depth with talking about stuff as YouTube does. So it does kind of feel like I'm swimming upstream, but what can you do? All right, so there is, so Jake, hey, what's up, Jake? So yeah, it's very interesting data for sure. Yeah, so I actually, when I was watching it, I was just like, when I got to that, when I heard you say that, I was like, man, that actually makes a ton of sense to me, because I've long had the belief that people who watch reviews on YouTube are watching them for entertainment. They're not watching them necessarily to gather information to make purchases. They're watching for entertainment, right? A lot of times they already have their own rack, and you can tell by the comments, because they'll comment and say, oh, well, yeah, good review. I like this other rack. And they're talking about other racks. So they obviously have knowledge about it, or they'll say, I decided to go with this. And that tells me that that the people watching, at least the people who watch and engage, already know about, they may already have their home gym built out. So they're watching for entertainment, which is fine, but they're not watching to be educated about the stuff that's out there. So I'm like, well, where do people find out, how are people making their purchasing decisions? Oh, well, apparently the answer is they're going on Instagram, they see a picture of something shiny and they buy it. That's crazy to me. there is a lively conversation. If you were watching on replay, I want you to know there is a lively conversation going on in the chat right now, and they're talking about 4-post racks with weight storage. They're just giving Jay information about setting up his home gym. I see the comments and I love it. So his question was, can you all tell me about 4-post racks with weight storage? Will they interfere at all with any inside the rack movements, or is 6-post a better option? My 2 cents is it depends on the depth of the 4-post rack. If you get a 4-post rack that's only like 24 inches and you put weight storage on there, the diameter of the plates is gonna, think about it, you got plates on the bar and then plates on the rack, that's not gonna work well together. But I'm not saying it can't be done, but you're gonna wanna have as deep a 4-post rack as possible if you're gonna try that. So that's my 2 cents about that. But yeah, I see a ton of comments. All right, so Matt said that style of adjustables are useless because he had to keep unscrewing when he was curling bigger weights. Yes, that is something that you run into. I definitely agree with that. All right, without further ado, I'm gonna tell y'all while I'm angry. You know why? Because it's the kind of thing that entertains y'all. I know how you are. Laugh at me, that's fine.
It's the recliner of rage.
It's the recliner of rage, 'cause he's not happy.
All right, so this technically didn't happen in my home gym, but it is home gym related. So I was doing my review, the review I did that you guys saw last week or earlier this week of the Normatec 3, which is it's from Hyper Ice, and it's air compression sleeves, right? It's the big air compression sleeves. You've got the hoses and all that kind of stuff, right? So I decided to do the review in my bedroom because I was like, well, where am I going to do it? Number one, it was for lighting purposes, but it's also so I could do it where the noise would be minimized. And then also I wanted to, so with that particular product, you have to be sitting, you have to be reclining, right? You can't. And so I could have been on the couch and or in my recliner or something like that, but the angles just didn't look right. So anyway, so I'm in my room. I'm in my bedroom. All right. That's important for the story. So I'm sitting in there, right? And so on our bed, we've got these like cushions that you can kind of recline, like backrest cushions. I forgot what you call them, but they got like the little arms. They're like the pillows with the arms that you watch TV with. Like if you're watching TV or you're eating or whatever, right? So we have 2 of them on the bed. So I'm sitting with my back on one, and then the one that's on my wife's side of the bed keeps on falling over. Now think about it, I'm trying to do a video and this thing keeps on flopping over while I'm talking. I was like, and I can't, I guess I could have just moved it, but I didn't think about that in the moment because I was just getting madder and madder, right? So I'm talking. So it took 5 takes. I'm trying to do this thing, and I've got my I use a teleprompter. Don't hate me. I use a teleprompter when I'm doing reviews like this because I want to make sure that I get like any like technical information. I want to make sure that I get that correct. Because if I'm doing something for a brand and I get something technical about the thing wrong, they can ask me to reshoot the entire video. I'm not about that, right? It's hard enough to do it the first time. So I have to put these I'm telling y'all all this just so you understand. So I connect all the hoses, then I got to put this thing on, and once it's inflated, you can't really walk comfortably in it, right? So you got to put it on, then I got to hit the teleprompter, then I kind of like scooch back up to the pillow, right? Well, when I do that, the pillow right next to me flops over, all right? And the teleprompter starts. So then I'm trying to talk and fix the thing without you guys on video noticing I'm fixing it. And so I end up just having to reshoot like 5 different times. So I'm starting to get frustrated and I'm out of breath. I finally get to the point where I'm able to get through most of the intro. And then I realized as I'm talking, I mentioned the Normatec Go's that were supposed to be sitting right next to me. And I've forgotten them. They're up on my dresser, which is across the room. So now I got to get back up somehow, stop the teleprompter, the camera. I just said the heck with it and left the camera running. And again, I can't really walk well, so I'm getting up and I'm moving around. And just hold on, you know what? I'm just gonna show you. The key components of my recovery since January of this year has been air compression using these two Okay, first of all, I had to interrupt it. Y'all see how y'all hear I'm breathing? Because I've been doing this multiple times, just like scooching right on my butt. Like, so I'm getting tired. All right. This is like I'm sitting here doing cardio and I'm starting to sweat because I'm actually doing this. I'm starting to sweat because my legs are encased in this thing. This ain't nothing. Nothing about this is cool. Okay. All right. But I digress. Let's go back to the video. Key components of my recovery since January of this year has been air compression using these two This is ridiculous. Take 75. All right, we're gonna get it this time. We're gonna get it this time. We're gonna get it this time. I mean it. It's gonna happen. Whew. Calm down. Breathe. This is the one. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. NormaTech 3. Is this the ultimate home gym recovery tool for home gym enthusiasts? Okay. I give myself a pep talk. I was so mad, man. I'll tell you, I was so mad. And then I'm trying to not sound like I'm breathing hard. And also, the timer on the teleprompter is only like 30 seconds long. So I had to do all of that, get back on the bed. And then I'm like, okay, and I'm looking like, okay, do I have enough time? Oh, I'm looking at, and then I'm watching the teleprompter counting down. And I'm like, okay, that's how long I have. So I'm breathing. Take deep breaths, get your breathing back under control, think calming thoughts. Like, give yourself a pep talk. You got to believe it's going to happen. I was so annoyed. Now, all this could have been avoided, but my wife was out of the house. And this is my fault. I said, okay, I'm going to do this. I got to wait till my wife had to go somewhere, right? I should have just asked her to help me shoot the video, which is actually how we ended up actually getting it done. She came home right after I got done doing it, because what y'all just watched, something else screwed up again, right? So fortunately, she got home right after that. And I say, look, I just need you to just do this with me. All right. And so she ran it. And that's how I was able to actually finally get the video done. So the take y'all just saw was not the final take. I went through all of that. My daughter would have been able to start and stop the teleprompter and all that kind of stuff for me. But our dog, we have hardwood floors, and our dog has a habit of walking around exactly when I start filming. Exactly when I start filming. So it sounds like tap dancing in the house. Clack, 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 clack. Also, he's like, while I'm trying to talk. Right? I know Fernando trained that dog, because that dang dog walks as soon as I start doing something, bam, that's when she wants to move around, right? Whatever room she was in was fine until I start trying to record a video. That's when she wants to move around. So I told my daughter, I said, okay, look, put the dog in your room and keep her still. Just keep her still. I don't care what y'all do in there. Just keep her still. All right? So then I'm going through all of that, and I know I'm a man on an island by myself. I'm on my island by myself with no help coming. expect a self-rescue. Oh, God. And y'all saw the pillow, right? Y'all saw the pillow fall over, right? I know y'all saw the pillow fall over right when I was like scooching back. Well, it happens every time I adjust my position in any way. So the reason why that tape didn't work, so y'all saw that the control monitor that was in my hand, that giant box that was in my hand that I had to put down on my lap. Okay. When I had to put that down, pick up the Normatec Goes and say what I had to say about them, then I put them down. Then I go to pick up the control unit. When I picked it up, the pillow fell over again. God, I wanted to punch air like Trey from Boys in the Hood when Ricky died. I'm telling you, I was so mad. I was so frustrated. Anyway, so that's my recliner rage. And you know what? That was kind of therapeutic, but on the other hand, it also made me mad again. So there you go.
It's the recliner of rage.
It's the recliner of rage, 'cause he's not happy.
All right, you guys know that the Recliner of Rage is sponsored by our friends over at Freedom Fitness Equipment, which gives you the Screaming Eagle guarantee. Any major issue with your equipment from them is covered on the house in the first 30 days of purchase, no questions asked. Plus, you get lifetime technical support. So if you have an issue with your equipment purchase, you can call or video chat Ashton over at Freedom Fitness Equipment, and they will help you diagnose the issue for as long as you own that item. Plus, they will consult with you before you buy stuff so that you don't buy something that's not a fit. You're trying to build the best gym in town, so why not reach out to Ashton over at freedomfitnessequipment.com or give them a call, 980-216-4860, and you guys will make it happen. All right, so we are getting ready for our next segment, which is 5 minutes of fitness tech. But so let's go. I see your jokes. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about it. I see Carb said he had an ATX leg press video. It was 101 degrees out and he was breathing hard. He had to cut some of the bad breathing noises out, but some of it had to stay in. I see y'all laughing. Jay said he ended his Carb ended the ATX video with "Lord is hot." I'm telling you, man, y'all don't understand what we go through for a video for y'all. And then, you know, I'm just like, least you could do is hit like. Come on, man. Let me live. Talking about pillow life. Man, I was so mad. I've never been so mad at an inanimate object as I was at that pillow. I'm so glad my wife got home and she rescued me, all right? And in fact, I'm going to tell her thank you again because she's backstage. She's going to be on here in a second. We're going to do 5 minutes of fitness tech. Carb said he was dripping sweaties. If you watch close, you guys can see it hit the ground a few times. Carb, put the link to that video in the chat. That way everybody can go watch it after this is over. He said he cut out all the times he was wiping off his face and his forehead. That's hilarious. At least somebody understands. All right. Well, look, it is now time for the segment that I promised you. We're going to talk about something that I think might be a game changer for home office workers in order to help you guys keep up your activity level. I know a lot of times you guys are stuck at your desk all day. So let's go ahead and jump into 5 minutes of fitness tech.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up? Bam!
Hello.
There we go.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing awesome. Mia Moore, turn the phone.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, there you can tell my wife is into the vertical video life. There you go. Look at that.
Sorry.
That's all right. That way we
No
can see
problem.
the Georgia Bulldog thing behind you too. Go Dogs. We coming back for what's ours. You dang right. That's right. All right. So we only got 5 minutes. Well, I guess technically we got 6 minutes. Excuse me, Dougie, because we started at 6:54. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the it's the Ancheer Elliptical. And you've been using this thing for quite some time now. So you've got it right there. It's under your desk right now, right?
Now it's in my arms.
All right.
But this is the Ancheer
All right.
under the desk elliptical. I've been using it now for almost 90 days at this point. And what I like about it is, number one, it's quiet. I think that was one of the biggest things that I enjoyed about it. It's ready to use right out the box. So there's no special instructions. You just take it and put it where you're going to need it. It does come with 3 preset like levels where it goes forward and back, but then also it has 5 manual levels as well. I've taken this with me when I have traveled. It's not airlines friendly, but whenever I have to drive to go out of town for work, I've taken this with me. When I say it's quiet, it's very quiet. I've used it in a hotel. I haven't gotten any knocks on the door saying it's loud. But I've used it while I've been in team meetings and trainings. And again, it's very quiet. It does have a remote that comes along with it. So that way it's convenient for you to change the different modes. You're not having to climb under your desk to do it. So it is very convenient. Now, one little piece of, I don't
Well,
want to say
hang on a second.
equipment.
Because people may not. I know I said it's a seated elliptical, but people may not get what we're saying. So I'll just go ahead and I'll show. So this is it right there. And that's the freaking dog that I was telling y'all makes all the dang noise when we're trying to shoot videos. But anyway, I digress.
You leave Barda alone. Barda's sweet. But yeah, so that's the elliptical. One of the things I also got, because I like to keep track of my steps, is I did get an ankle band for my Apple Watch. It may, I don't know if like your Galaxy watches have something similar. We're not a Galaxy family, but for the iPhone, I'm sorry, for the Apple Watch, I did go ahead and get a band.
Okay, so the thing that somebody like me sees it and it's like, okay, what's that really doing though? So you don't, I want to make clear that you don't replace the other stuff that you do with that. That's just extra activity. So you still work out in the you still work out in our home gym.
In the home gym.
Which is right on the other side of that wall. Right. So you still do your home gym workouts. But one thing that I noticed is like when you're on, it's funny because if I'm walking past your office and the door's open, I can tell when you like are getting into something because you start pedaling faster, which I think is hilarious. And I'm assuming that happens like if you like you get in an argument with somebody too, because like
I don't get in arguments.
Oh, of course not. No, never. Absolutely not. Definitely not. Definitely not. But you said it is quiet, so you'll be able to use it during meetings and things like that.
Yeah. Whether it's team meetings or I'm having even used it when I've had my one-on-ones. So again, it's very quiet. What I guess the best way I could describe it is kind of like a fidget spinner sometimes. So when I'm having to think, sometimes I use it to kind of reset me when I'm having to work on anything. And it's kind of like mindless because I have it underneath my desk. Sometimes I'm using it just without having to just turn it on. I turn it on, but I just use it. I use it quite frequently. So for me to go ahead and advise a piece of tech that you can use in addition to your regular workout, this is definitely it. You will build up a sweat. I didn't realize how how active you can be when you're in a seated position with this piece of equipment as well.
All right, so Carlos said he's a Galaxy Watch wearer right there. And I know Carlos can check his steps as well.
We forgive you. We forgive you, Carlos.
Eric, Eric from Carbs Gym said I'm a Garmin guy. He said he had a Fitbit for years, but he actually likes Garmin better. Do you use Garmin when you're cycling?
I do not. I still have my my Apple Watch. Now I have seen there are YouTube influencers that I do watch, and they use Garmin for like their running. They track their running. It's a lot more accurate, is from what I've understood. The same thing when it's like for cycling, it connects to like the Strava and a few others. Apple Watch does the same thing. I've just I've never gone into the Garmin wearables per se. So I can't really answer to that.
And then Carlos said there are band attachments for Galaxy Watches as well. What I like about the side thing about the Apple Watch is that you're able to use it for all of the different things you do, because you do a lot of things, like primarily the cycling, but just the general we call like non-exercise activity, and then obviously your workouts in the home gym and all that kind of stuff too. But Carlos said he is fully Samsung PC integrated, which is actually interesting because to me it seems like you'd have to do more work because there's so much you have more freedom because there are more options. But with the iPhone, or not iPhone, but with Apple, it kind of like they're like, hey, we've got an entire infrastructure for you, an ecosystem. Like, bam, 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 I just get all this stuff here. All right, last thing. So because I know you have to take our daughter to school and then get your day started. What would you say as far as pros and cons go for somebody who is working from a home office? Are there any things that you would say are things that you don't like about that seated elliptical?
Honestly, I haven't come across any. And usually if I find something that I don't like, I find it pretty quickly. For this, I haven't. I've been very, very satisfied with it the entire time that I've had it. So like I said, it's convenient. I've traveled with it, going out of town. It's one of the things besides a kettlebell. I'll grab this if I'm driving to when I have to go out of town for work, so that way I have it with me in the hotel. Otherwise, I have it underneath my desk that I use. So I have nothing negative to say about it at all.
Outstanding. All right, so I will put the link to Naomi's full review of the Anchior elliptical, but I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a teaser for it. So that's another 5 minutes of fitness tech, especially if you work from home, because I've seen people on Reddit ask questions in like in our beginner fitness, where they have a lot of questions, a lot of like people who are just getting started have questions about that. And this actually popped up, which is why I mentioned it to you. I said, hey, we should probably do that, because there are people who are asking like, hey, I work from home. How do I, stay active throughout the day? So I love that. All right. Well, that was 5 minutes of fitness tech with the cutest Puerto Rican in the world. Thanks for being here. I'll see you I'll see you in a little bit. All right. But they'll see you later. All right.
Bye, everybody. See ya.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so once again, that was 5 minutes of fitness tech featuring my wife, my favorite Puerto Rican. There are other Puerto Ricans, but this one is mine. And I'm really happy that she's, that she's on the team, obviously. All right, so let me see. We got a question about it. So I'll go ahead and, let's do this first, and then I'll answer that question. So good morning to the Central Time Zone. It is now 7:02. Appreciate you guys who are just joining us from the Central Time Zone. I'm John Greaves III. I'm the founder of Garage Gym Life. And you are up way too early with Garage Gym Life. This is the only live morning fitness show on YouTube. So do me a favor. Whether this is your first time or not, go ahead, hit that like button for me. And if this is your first time checking out the video, hit subscribe. It's going to help me out by helping me grow to hit my goal of 50,000 subscribers. And it's going to help you out, because it's going to tell YouTube you want more stuff like this, as opposed to the random junk that they're going to show you if you don't click like and subscribe. All right. So I'm just letting you know, if you don't click like and subscribe, you're at the mercy of the algorithm. All right. So now let's go and let's answer the question that I said, do we have a walking pad or under the desk treadmill? Have we tried any? We do not have a walking pad under the desk treadmill. I have my eye on a few of them, but that's really would be more Naomi's thing, because my way my stuff is set up, I can just go downstairs. She is more prone to get into meetings literally without warning. She'll get like a thing and say, hey, well, I need to talk to you, or I need to do a video chat, or I need to whatever, somebody from her team, because she manages people in different time zones. And so she doesn't have as much freedom to get up and leave her office as I do. But yeah, we do have our eye on several, and we're just trying to pick out the right one to get in here. That is on the list of things that we want to review. All right. So if anybody wants to, any company wants to send us one, we're open to the idea. All right, Carlos says we in here Central Time Zone. Also from the Central Time Zone, Will Whitman from HomeGrown Lifting is standing backstage, waiting eagerly, ready to share his wealth of knowledge. All right, he's looking at me. I'm looking at him right now. He's like, "What?" Like, no pressure, Will. No pressure at all. All right, you're the first guest of the day. You're setting the bar. All right, everybody, show your love for my guy Will.
Appreciate y'all bringing us on.
Will, my man, what's up?
Going good. How are you all doing? Thank you for bringing us on today.
Yeah, man, of course. Do me a favor and turn your phone sideways if you're using a phone or whatever. There you go. That way, when I make, sometimes I'm going to give you full screen, and when I do that, it's gonna, it'll just look better. We want the stuff on the sides. So let's do here. All right. So, oh, look at that. You get your first shout out. Is this the first time anybody's ever called you Big Willie?
It is not.
Okay, good. He's off. Come on, man. Everybody knows me. Yeah. Big Willie. I hear you. Okay. Did you, when the Big Willie Style album came out, are you old enough to remember that?
I did not remember that, no.
Oh, my God. That is Will Smith. He had Big Willie Style. He had the entire album. So I highly recommend you get it, and you just play it. Your wife will love this. Just play it in the car while you're riding along. This, you know, you didn't cuss in his rhyme, so you can have the kids in the car. Your whole family will love singing along the Big Willie Style, and, you know, because it's only right, you know. Recognize that status.
My daughter's quite the vocalist, so I'll get her on that tonight.
There you go. There you go. All right. So, oh, wow. Right out the gate, we got questions. All right. So let's go before we get to Carp's question. Let's go ahead and just say it's been a while. I haven't talked to you since, you know, we spoke before Home Gym Con. So just in general, what's been going on with Homegrown Lifting?
We've just been growing, trying to, you know, just expand this business. The demand for it this year has really kind of exploded. This time last year, you know, this time before Christmas can be a little slower for some brands. People are gearing up for their Black Friday shop and things like that. But this year, it just hasn't slowed down at all for us. So we've just been trying to keep our head above water, get product out to people, and make sure everybody's happy.
All right. So I should have known. I should have known when I said something. When I said this, okay? Because now you're getting all the Will Smith recommendations, right? So there's Big Willie Style. I'm pretty sure Carp has heard that. But he also recommends the Millennium. So when the Millennium hit, he made he started calling everything the Millennium. So basically, this is when you're supposed to take over, which is, you know, coincidental because you started your own company. So there you go. Mm-hmm. We're in the Millennium.
There we go.
However, Carlos says he retracts his Big Willie comment until you get the album. So
I'll get on that first thing once I get off this interview.
Yeah, I believe that. Sure. It's like, yeah, that's next to my agenda. So now let's go to the question. It said Carp wants to know: are you guys making the thinner bumpers now, or like basically what's the status on it? Because you guys said that you were going to be doing it. I think you guys said, I'm trying to see because it came up in. So I was watching a video, the Garage Gym Radio, right? So the link is actually in the description, is in the live chat. And for people who are watching on replay, or if you're listening on Podbean, just go to YouTube and you'll be able to see the link in the description on the YouTube video. But Jake used your bumpers as part of his build out for a hypothetical like home gym build. Mm-hmm. And in the comments, somebody brought up your thinner bumper plates right there. So the it's out there. People are wanting to know. So I know this is how often do you get this question?
We get it a lot. They are out. We've got them in full production right now. And the sales.
So hold on, they're out or they're like in production?
No, they're out. They're open for purchase on our website.
Okay.
So they're in full production. We're making them right now. We got a few molds out there making them, you know, as we speak. And the response to them has been really nice. People have seemed to really like them. They've held up just like we expected them to, and yeah, they've been doing good. So if you want some, just hop on our website. They're still listed as a new product on there, and you can grab some today.
Well, let's go ahead and let's check out said bumpers right now. Right here, this is right there. Okay, so this is them right there. Let's see there you go. I'll get rid of that because I got you right here to answer questions. All right, so let's see. This is a new product. So it looks like they have that fleck coating on them.
Correct. Yep.
All right. And let's see here. So since we got them up, you said that the response has been really good. So this is them. Is this them side by side with your other 45s?
Correct. Yeah. So that's them side by side. Let me pull that up too, because I know the general specs, but I just want to make sure I don't.
This is 2.4 inches thick.
Yeah, 2.4 inches versus I think 3.65 is what it should say on that big bumper. So we decreased it over an inch in thickness, which
Oh wow.
doesn't sound like that, but as you can see there, it can be a huge difference.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
Yeah,
they look to me like they look like they're about the diameter of like a deep dish 45 plate. Is that accurate, or is that about the size?
Yep. So they're about the size of like a deep dish or one of our 25-pound plates.
Okay. Next question is, do you only have them? I only see 45s. So you only have the ultra thins in the 45 pounds?
Correct.
Do you have any plans on making the like thinner, like 25s?
Not really. The problem
I get you can go too thin with bumper with
you
plates,
can't. You can go too thin, and then you just start getting into durability issues. So we could do like a thinner 35, but the demand just isn't quite there for that right now. Nobody really wants thin 35, so we're gonna do these thin 45s and stick with that, and that seems to be what people want.
Well, it's I love this because it says at that thickness you can load well over 600 pounds on the bar, and in all bumper plates. So that's pretty cool. And they're rubber chrome with a urethane binder. Okay, man, that's awesome. So right there, looks like you might have gotten a sale. All right, right here. All right, it said Jay. So Jay's putting together his home gym. He's like $99 for a pair of 45s. I'm in. All right. Yeah. So that's the guy you want to get, Jay, because Jay is building his home gym right now. Okay. He just got his bench in. Okay. And he's actually power rack shopping right now. So I know you guys have you have a wall mounted fold out rack. Is that right?
We've got a wall mounted fold out rack. We have a half cage as well, and we're getting some other racks in, but they're not in stock right now. So if you're itching for a foldable rack, ours is it's a really good option too.
Yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead. I'm going with the flow right now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pull that since that did come up. So this is your foldable rack right there. Does it fold out?
Yeah,
How does it fold or unfold?
It folds in and out. I think there's a video down there.
Oh, okay. So it rotates up, kind of like.
It won't go up. It goes in and out. So it'll fold in on itself there, back against the wall.
Never mind. I see it. I see the pins right there. Hitch pins. Gotcha. Okay.
You pop those out and fold it in.
What's the load rating on that rack?
I believe it's 800 pounds.
Okay. Because it says it's 3x3 11 gauge. So that's pretty good.
It's heavy duty. It's a heavy duty piece of equipment.
It's got a 21-inch inside depth. So you probably can still, I would say, because you don't really have the biggest home gym yourself. Are you able to park your car in there even with the rack pulled out from the wall?
I drive a fairly big truck, so I don't even park it in the garage. But my wife she can park her Sienna in there, no problem. I'll fold it in and out once a week or so.
Okay. So is that the half rack or the fold out rack right there?
That is the fold out rack.
That's the fold out rack. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. I think you're about to demonstrate the unfolding.
Took about a minute or so, maybe a minute and a half to fold this thing in.
Okay.
Same fold it out.
That's still not bad.
No?
Oh, okay. I see. And when it's completely unfolded, the front feet are flush with the floor, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Nice. Okay. Good deal, man. All right. So if you guys have any other questions about the rack or any other homegrown lifting products, go ahead and throw them in the chat and we'll go ahead and make sure that we pass them along to Will. Let's see here. All right. So you got some people who are happy about this. So Carp said thinner 45s and Kurt says hyper thin. Ooh la la. All right. And Kurt says he says Curdy likey. Hey, you got Statty Daddy's approval. That's a big deal. Okay. That's like the FDA saying that something's okay to eat. Okay. In case you're wondering. When Kurt, you get the Curdy likey sticker. Actually, that's what y'all need to. Kurt, this is free. You need to make some stickers, say Curdy likey, and get brands to put them on their stuff. That's like the Kurt seal of approval.
Send us one. We'll be the first one to do it.
Well, okay, so let's go ahead. Let's arrange this right now. All right, I'm brokering this deal here. All right, Kurt says he's going to buy some of your bumpers so he can review them on this channel. So he's going to get some bumpers. So after he gets the bumpers, he's going to review them. After he does a review, he can send you the sticker, and y'all can have that right there on the bumpers. All right, we just worked out something. And actually, you got an endorsement. Carp said he tried to break your bumpers and he couldn't.
Oh yeah.
So he says he knows that you guys make good plates. Says your original was basically indestructible. Kurt wants to know if your bumpers are rubber with a bigger steel core. Are they chrome rubber with a bigger steel core?
No, so they don't have any steel core in them. They're all when we designed these, we tested out putting steel cores in them, and what we found. I think you saw our drop tester there at Home Gym Con last year. Using that drop tester, with the steel core, you'd break them out after 1,000, 1,500 drops, and we were really trying to go for that 5,000 drop number. So instead, we've mixed in a proprietary blend of rubber chrome, the binder, and then some other heavier material inside there. But it's all still a homogeneous mix, if you will, so that when you drop it, you're not getting these stress points and pressure points where the plate could actually crack and break. The forces are all distributed equally within it. So not to get into too much engineering, but that's what we've done there. There's no steel core. It's all a solid mixture.
Well, I don't know if you want to. So Carp said they're the same, but added steel shot for more weight and less bounce.
Yeah,
essentially. So Carp's been apparently hiding in the tree line, watching your factory as you guys are making stuff. So you might want to beef up security out there.
Yeah, right. Sounds like it.
That's
what we did. We're using effectively a steel shot inside of it, and that just takes the durability up, 3x in terms of drop testing it.
He said you use unobtainium. Yeah, of course. That's what you make everything out of. So Jay said it's good to know because he's going to be training with his son, who is, I believe, getting ready for like the fire academy or something like that. But he said he'd love to have more, extra plates instead of not having enough. Yep. Which is basically, you always want to have extra plates because if you have too many, you can just not use them. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have enough, now you're like tying water jugs and all that weird stuff that everybody was doing during the pandemic. So the topic that I said I wanted to talk to you about is like how you stand apart when you're competing against larger brands. When I went on your website, and I mean, I see it even in videos where people are talking about your bumper plates specifically. And then I also saw your AMA that you did on our home gym. And the number one thing that kept on coming up is people say, I've never heard of this brand. I've never heard of this brand. I've never heard of this brand. So what's the most important thing it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, if you know, so you can see that the people who are on it, who kind of do like what I do are like, yeah, we know about homegrown lifting, right? So what's the most important thing that you guys would say that you've done to just build awareness about your brand?
I think we've in the last year really put some effort into kind of the organic content and just organic word of mouth stuff. Just putting a really, really high quality product out there and letting other people talk about it. Like you saw before, I don't know who said it, but he said, we got the original plates, they were indestructible. We got these new plates, they're indestructible as well. Nobody believes anything as much as they do, the word of a happy customer. And so just being patient and doing that and letting other people talk about it instead of going and blasting them with a social media campaign, saying how great we are.
So that is that's interesting because I think one of the things that actually leads to two things. The first thing is talking about like the word of mouth. Last week I had Andrew and Paige from Bullet Pulley on here. And, I reached out to you after the show was over and said, hey, these people have this brand and they're using your products, your bumper plates in their videos. And they want to, talk to you, right? So it was interesting to me because when I saw your bumper plates in the videos, like you can see it in multiple videos. It's not like it's like far off. It's just a bumper plate. No, I could see the logo. That's what I was like, whoa, wait a minute. and it looked like product placement. I was like, oh, are you guys collaborating with Homegrown Lifting? They're a cool company. And they're like, no, we just happened, like it was all intentional, right? So I thought that was really cool, especially since they said somebody else recommended your company to them. They didn't know anything about you. So they're in Florida, and I think somebody that they know who's in Texas or maybe Kentucky knew about your company and recommended that they buy your stuff. How much of your sales would you say, first of all, come from people just seeing your stuff being used in videos, even videos for other products?
I'm embarrassed to say I have no idea. I mean, I do think it's a substantial amount, and I think a bigger part of that is I think a ton of our sales and a really high percentage come from people who maybe they do hear about us through some of the paid social stuff, but then go and see these videos of other people using our stuff and these kind of organic, just user reviews from happy customers who obviously we haven't paid, and it's, just stuff that's out there on the internet. I think that really resonates with people when they can see, hey, there's a huge community of really happy people out there with this stuff that's not just a paid influencer.
So, however, I think that's good because it helps you sidestep one of the issues that some newer companies have. But you said that your biggest challenge is establishing legitimacy. I think you actually said that in your AMA and our home gym. It's like a lot of people email you because they can't believe that your prices are so low. They're like, is this legit, right? So how do you overcome that hurdle? Because I know they're like, okay, this is like some fly-by-night operation from Temu, right? How do you like I mean, you could always say, oh no, we're legit, but how do you like get them to like actually believe, yeah, we are legit. We are literally right here in Kentucky actually making this stuff?
Because I link my personal cell to our customer service line and things like that. And when people call or email, I'm the one they talk to, or my wife, Nicole, or the other co-founder, Zach, and just talking to people. There's only so much, posting and things like that you can do to get people to believe it. Eventually you just got to talk to them. And so we've really put an emphasis on, obviously if you call us at midnight, we're not going to answer. But if you call, at a reasonable hour, we're going to try and pick up the phone and just talk you through what your questions are. Nice.
And I will say, this dude wakes up early because he'll, like, you messaged me a couple of weeks ago, and I think the show might have actually been going on, or either that or it had just ended. And you said, yeah, you were. I didn't realize that you actually woke up and watched the show. And I said, oh, this dude gets up early. You're in Central Time Zone, right?
We're actually Eastern. We're right on the border in Eastern Central.
Oh, okay. So you're over here with the rest of the God-fearing people. All right, Eastern time. Right. All right.
That's right.
I don't know what the rest of the country's. I don't know what y'all doing. Nah. But I mean, still, you wake up. So you have long days. That's what I'm getting at. And you're the one answering the phone. I've talked to you, and you've been like, oh yeah, well, we're actually like loading pallets, or we're doing something. Like, you're actually doing the work, which is one of the things that makes me. Excited is probably the best word. Like, so excited to see you guys grow, because you are growing with organic growth. You do go to Home Gym Con. You are active in the community. You are willing to help other people in our community. I think that's really cool. Jay said he just bookmarked your site, and business is coming your way soon. So there you go. Like I said, you got you to say. Yeah, man. The Carp wants to know if you guys offer, what kind of discounts you offer.
Yeah, so we 100%. We got I see he's something about a military and first responder. We 100% do that. If you scroll to the bottom of our webpage, where there's generally that contact us and things like that, we have a link to the GovX website. So we give 5% off to anybody who's verified through that website. No questions asked. And then in terms of that's kind of what we do there. We do have sales here and there, but in general, again, we've just tried to give everybody, the best price up front. If you call and ask for some help or something, we can try and work with you. But our main goal has just been, don't mark things up 30% to then mark them down 20 and all play that game. Just give people the best price up front.
So if anybody who's watching this is a veteran, and doesn't know what GovX is, basically you go in there and you have to show something that proves that you were in the military or that you were in the military. So like you show your DD-240. So like I just showed my VA card, but I believe you can also submit your DD-214 along with like a picture, government ID, and obviously if you're active duty military, you can just show your military ID. So it basically makes sure that you don't have like stolen valor people trying to just get discounts. And I'm not sure what they do for first responders, but basically they verify that you're actually somebody who's doing that, putting yourself out there for us. And so that's really cool that you guys do that. Jared says if you're watching, you need to get in the live chats. And I will defend you though. Like I said, if he's watching, he's probably listening because, as I said, he's actually doing stuff. Every time I talk to you, you're in the middle of something. So I'm fairly certain your hands are full when you're listening. I'm just glad you're listening.
Love it.
Carp says he gets questions all the time for schools and fire departments. So he said he will start recommending you for those people as well. So that's actually a pretty good deal. In terms of setting, I'm assuming he's talking about like setting up school, like gymnasiums and things like that. Okay, nice. And he said GovX, and Jared says GovX also works for teachers depending on the vendor. So there we go. All right.
I'm not sure exactly who the cutoff is or whatnot, but I know it's been a great tool to use where we can give back to the community some. And one thing I'll say is if you have any problems with them, just email us and say, hey, I'm a veteran, but I can't figure this out. And we'll either walk you through it and help you get set up, or just, a lot of times we just don't make people go through the hassle. And as long as we, have some reasonable way to believe that you're telling the truth, we'll just get you the discount.
All right. So you mentioned like the social media thing, and you're like, it's like you found it a lot more effective to have organic word of mouth stuff, like what we're talking about right here, as opposed to like just doing like these social media campaigns, which cost money if you want to do them correctly. You're spending money. All right. Instagram doesn't just let you just do free advertising, right? What would you say though has been the biggest waste of money or resources as far as getting, because you're trying to compete against bigger brands that people have already heard of? I mean, think Rogue Fitness has been around for a long time. Just for example, Iron Mind's been around even longer. I'm trying to think of like some of the, Elliptical has been around forever. Heck, Elliptical has been around so long that for those of you watching who don't know it, Elliptical invented knurling on barbells. They were the ones who first put the knurling on barbells. So they've been around forever. So you're competing against all of these brands plus others who I didn't name. So you're going to try things, especially as an entrepreneur. You're like, okay, well, let's try it. Everything doesn't work though. So what would you say has been the thing that's been like the biggest waste of money? Like, okay, we shouldn't have spent a dime on that. Wish we hadn't done that. You're in a safe space. You can talk to me.
I was about to say, you're putting me on the spot there. It might take me a second to think this up. I'm not really sure. I think my hesitancy speaks a little bit to kind of our philosophy has just been, really vet out before we spend money, figure out if it's going to be worth it, because the unfortunate reality is if we spend $1,000, that's just going to be passed on to our customers in some way. Right. So, the biggest waste of money was probably in our founding years, going out and trying to do some of these more, mainstream social media campaigns where we tried to sell, go up against Rogue and sell some rack or something like that.
Okay. You're talking about like the giveaways where like it causes you to like, hey, we'll give away this and we're partnering with this person.
Yeah, stuff like that. Just things where, instead of competing on, just letting our product do the talking, we were trying to go out and make the biggest, flashiest ad out there. It didn't really work for us. Going and spending a lot on a photo shoot to get an ad and put it out there. And that's, now that I think about it, that's probably been the biggest waste of money, is we went and tried to do, these crazy professional photo shoots, and they made cool ads, but I just don't think the return was there.
I was gonna say, because like what you just described, like those are popular strategies and they probably work for bigger brands. But for you guys, somebody sees that and they're just going to be like, okay, whatever, you know, they're not going to believe it anyway, you know. But at the same time, according to Jake's survey, people make their purchases based off of what the cool stuff they see on Instagram. So there's that tension. So like, it's like you have to, I guess it helps because there's more than one of you doing the business. It's not just you.
Oh, yeah.
So do you guys like kind of bat things around like, hey, you want to try this? Maybe we'll try that. You know, like, how do you come to consensus about how you're going to market whatever you're doing that year?
I'll give a full shout out to my wife here. She was the one, she's the marketing genius behind it. I hope she's listening so that I get some brownie points for saying that. But she's the marketing genius behind the whole operation. You know, she got us going. She got our Instagram running. She got kind of the whole digital aspect of our brand running. I'm just a mechanical engineer. I make the stuff.
You're just the face.
That's right.
You're just the face of the brand, you know?
I'm the face of the brand.
Okay.
But yeah, she was. So to answer your question, we do have multiple people who handle it, and she's been instrumental in that part of it.
Let's talk about shipping. This is something that's like the worst headache for anybody. I mean, you got a home gym, so you understand. Shipping is the thing that drives us nuts. All right. Yep. Especially because you order stuff like we've had one Recliner of Rage segment where it wasn't me, where I had a guest come on and it was Jared and he was complaining and it was shipping related. Most of the things that I've complained about this past year related to my home gym have been related to shipping. And it's all across the different carriers: FedEx, UPS, the Postal Service, Laser Ship, every one of them. Like, you'll get boxes that are torn open, you get stuff that's bent, stuff just won't show up. It'll show up in the wrong order. It'll show up with bolts missing, all that stuff. But guess what? Nobody calls FedEx complaining. You. All right? Oh, yeah. So talk to me about shippings. First of all, let's just break this down. What's your process for selecting a shipping carrier? And then we can go into what happens if a carrier damages something or they don't deliver it on time. So let's just start with, how do you guys go through the process of deciding which carriers to use?
So we let the customer do all that. You know, we live quote everything right on our website, and depending on what you're using or what you're buying, we let you choose. So do you want to do LTL freight? Do you want to do small parcel? You know, if you want to do freight and maybe have it get here a little bit later, but it might be a little bit cheaper. So that part is dictated by the customer. In terms of who we actually use, you know, who we have contracts with, that's determined, you know, over a long negotiation period with the UPS.
Well, I don't mean that. I'm saying, like, I'm talking about the negotiation process. So is it based upon, obviously it's based upon cost, but you also are, like, I would also assume, watching like the market, like, hey, I saw in the news, you guys are having a driver's strike. Maybe we don't want to use you. You got to have like your eyes on a bunch of different things. And then I would say, like, track record, you know, because if you've been using a company and then you keep on getting complaints about them, then you say, all right, well, now it's time for a negotiation. Do we want to go back? That's what I mean. And like, how do you like kind of like keep track of that and decide, okay, this is not necessarily the name, but this is what we're looking for in a shipping carrier?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to constantly try and keep our finger on the pulse and, you know, monitor our shipments and monitor the people that say, hey, I ordered this and we didn't get it, or, you know, send us a picture, hey, my boxes came like this. So unfortunately, there's not a ton of competition, so there's only a few to choose from. But, you know, we just try to package our stuff up as best we can, you know, get it on trucks safely and learn from our mistakes. You know, if a package arrives damaged, look at it and see what we can do better in the future. If a piece falls out, you know, how can we tape that box up better to save that piece, and kind of put it on us, as opposed to saying, you know, oh, well, UPS didn't deliver that right, let's switch over to FedEx, because unfortunately they, you know, issues exist with all of them.
That actually leads me to another question, because if something is delivered on a pallet, it's going to be safer. It's going to be safer for whatever the product is, right? But you can't deliver pallets to every location. right?
Yep.
There's some, especially if it's like, let's say it's a gated community or whatever, a lot of times they won't let you deliver something on a pallet because there may be like a central mail pickup location, right? And so how's that person going to get this pallet all the way to wherever their actual place is where they live? You know, they live in an apartment or whatever, right? So what happens when somebody damages a product? The customer then calls you complaining. Your only recourse is to send something else out, I assume, right?
Oh yeah.
Are you able to get your money back from the carrier, or do you just have to eat the loss?
Generally, we have to eat it. I mean, that's the unfortunate fact, and that's probably one of the biggest costs in our business is when something gets damaged or something gets lost. You know, Homegrown Lifting isn't a huge company, and FedEx and UPS and all these carriers are, and so there's not much we can do to fight them. So we'll just eat it, you know, get the customer out a new product, make them happy because they did nothing wrong, and learn from our mistakes, and say, you know, hey, they lost this barbell because the package broke open. Let's tape it up better next time. But generally, we're just having to eat that, unfortunately.
And it's not just y'all. I mean, even companies like Rep and some of the bigger brands, Bells of Steel. If something goes wrong, they typically, I mean, you could file it. I know you can file a claim, but it's like me filing a claim. It's like, Midtown One says FedEx is absolutely horrible. Excuse me. So it looks like he's got a. Look, see there. Hold on. Am I like coughing right here? I'm choked up about it. Midtown One. I'm choked up about your pain. Here, I'm in pain with you. All right. That's what happens when you drink something while you're talking. He says, I like the ability to choose. Don't you just use like I don't know, like when you did your website builder though, it kind of like has like the shipping, whatever, you can just plug it in. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about your thinner bumper plates, and I mentioned your AMA that you guys did. You guys maintain a presence on Reddit, or did you just show?
Yeah, we try to. So our co-founder Zach, he's very active on Reddit for some for the company, but a lot for just his own stuff. He loves, you know, getting in there and talking about home gyms. He's a huge video gamer, so he loves getting in there and talking about gaming. So we try to maintain a presence. Me, not so much, but Zach's always on there poking around.
All right. I promise I'm going to live through this. Let's see. Jay says he puts the F in FedEx. His pain is new because he like I said, he's building his home gym. He was recently just complaining about stuff not showing up on time. So you did have the AMA, as I said, and a question that I saw in there that I'd like for you to address here as well is, what were the biggest obstacles with just starting your own company? Because this happened during the pandemic. So I'm using this interview not just for the people who are watching to get an insight into your company in terms of what like it's easy for us to order something, it doesn't go well for whatever reason, and then we get upset, right? And so we typically, like I said, we're going to get mad at the brand. We don't normally get mad at FedEx or UPS or whatever, right? Even though it's sometimes out of you guys' control. But I also want anybody who's a business owner to kind of understand what they're getting into if they're like a little bit further behind you guys, you know, in terms of their brand. So talk about what were the biggest obstacles with starting your own company, especially during the pandemic.
During the pandemic, one of the biggest, just finding people to work was a huge problem for us. You know, there were a few years there where there were people looking for jobs.
Hold on, you said during the pandemic, so you had the thing with people like social distancing and all that you had to deal with. But you're saying that even after that, it still was tough to find people to work?
It's tough to find people to work, and this is not to mince words. We're a blue collar factory. I mean, this is manufacturing, so it is hard to find people to work in this sector right now. And the cost of getting somebody in is is tough. So that's been one of the things that's been, hard for us. Now, I will say we have an absolutely phenomenal group here now. I think we've had the same guys working for us for like 3 and 4 years. So that's one thing I will say to somebody who is maybe a little bit further behind us is, find a good group of guys and then, pay them well and pay them respectably, and they'll stick around and they'll grow with you. And in the long run, it'll work out a lot better than trying to, nickel and dime them and things like that.
I think so. You're not the first person I've heard say that, which is so crazy to me because I remember during lockdown, it was like everybody was getting laid off. And they're like, oh, there are no jobs. I lost my job. And I was like, the first thing I thought was, well, we're all on Amazon ordering stuff from Amazon like every day. And there's Instacart, there's all these other things. I'm like, I don't understand why people, like, if you really just want money, I don't understand why people didn't just get jobs driving, like doing deliveries, right? And then as you're able to start working, the most likely, so like for my full-time job, we were considered essential because it's in the public power industry, right? Got to have the lights on. You can't order stuff from Amazon if you don't have electricity. So we had it, right? But in general, construction would have been like the thing that you could do because you're outdoors. So there's automatic, you're probably riding in a truck with somebody, but most of the day you're apart from, you're at least 6 feet apart from other people a lot of times, right? And I kept seeing companies like that, and then companies like who do what you do, where you probably spread the people out in terms of your factory and even like the packaging area. And they're all saying it's hard to find workers. It's hard to find workers because everybody started getting these COVID checks. So why would I come work if I'm getting a check to stay home? You know what I mean? It's like, so on the one hand, you're getting more, just tell me if I'm wrong. So on the one hand, you're getting more orders because people are at home with COVID checks. They're bored, so they're buying stuff. So they're buying home gym equipment. On the other hand, you don't have the staff to fulfill the orders. How did you manage that balance?
Like I said, just, it was a lot of long days for me. And then once we did find once we found a guy who did a really good job, pay him enough that it makes sense for him to come to work, and pay him enough that he's happy and proud and, looks forward to, nobody looks forward to work, but that when he comes, he knows he's, taking care of his family and that he's, his job has a future, and it's not just him putting a weight in a box and he's going to be fired if we buy a robot that, can come and do it better. Knowing that he's part of HomeGrown lifting, and he, when he, puts our shirt on, that's the company he works for.
You guys have you're in Kentucky, and my buddy David Dennis is in Leachfield. I've been through there. I've been through Kentucky multiple times. Usually I'm going through there because I'm headed to like at first I was going to the Arnold, and then it's Home Gym Con but just different things. I go through Kentucky a lot. And there are a lot of areas where it's like you said, blue collar, right? Are you able to hire a lot of people locally, or do you find that you're having to like get people from further out and they move to where you guys are? Like, are you able to get people like from like within your city?
Oh yeah, they're all from, now they might not be from Nicholasville, but they're, from within one city over.
It's like 50 mile radius.
Yeah, we have guys. We have guys who commute 3 minutes and guys who commute 30.
Okay.
Nothing more than that. Nobody, move in here or anything of that nature. We've been able to hire within the community relatively well.
So I asked that because if you're hiring somebody from your area, that money's going to go back into the community because they're probably buying groceries there. They're probably buying gas there. You know what I mean? So that's what I think. What people wish that they had when they say, okay, we're going to buy American, you're hoping that the money that gets paid to that company goes to their workers who then use that money in their community. And it's kind of like benefiting the local area. So I love hearing that. Let's talk about Home Gym Con. What's one thing you took away from there? It could be either a lesson you learned from having your booth or just from being there as a home gym owner yourself and kind of like seeing what's out there. or just from kind of like watching people's habits as they're like seeing, because like I'm a people watcher, right? So when I go to places like that, whether it's Home Gym Con, even a grocery store, I see like what people are. So like I was at the Publix yesterday, and even if I don't need anything from that aisle, I walk down the aisle with the like the sport bars and the pre-workout and all that. I walk there because I'm interested to see what people are getting.
Oh yeah.
Right. Even though I don't sell that stuff, I don't have any. I like to see like what's the and Publix tends to be like well, in my area anyway, Publix tends to be where the people who are like workout will go. Right. So I see more people in shape at Publix there. So just from observation at Home Gym Con, what did you learn? And from having your booth, like what was some biggest lessons learned?
Probably the coolest thing about going to Home Gym Con is just putting a name to some of these companies. You know, you see, I'll throw them a shout out for free. You know, you see Fringe Sports and you see their ads and you see their stuff, and then you go there and it's like, oh, here's Peter. You know, he's this awesome, he's this really cool guy. You know, shake his hand, talk to him. So that's the most fun thing, I think. You know, in terms of stuff we learned, it's just like walking down Publix, just walking down those aisles and seeing all the cool stuff people can come up with, stuff that, you know, we're sitting here thinking that we're coming up with cool things. Then you go there and there's 20 items and you're like, dang, how did I not think about that? You know, that's awesome. I wish we could pair that with our stuff. So let me ask you this.
All right. Have you been to Home Gym Con? Let's say you have an idea for something and it's like, you're like, okay, we got to keep this under wraps. Then you get to Home Gym Con and you see, that's our idea. Like, or something close to it. You like, has that happened to you?
Thankfully, that's not happened to us. Where we're mainly manufacturing the bumper plates, you know, unfortunately, a bumper plate's a bumper plate. So there's not a lot of, per se, innovation in that.
But you've got your rack, too. Your folding rack.
Yeah, there's stuff where we're like, dang, how do we not think about that? In terms of things that we've been working on that we've seen, you know, after the fact, I'm glad to say there wasn't anything this year, and I'll cross my fingers there's nothing next year.
Have you guys, when you've gone to Home Gym Con, have you seen stuff that other companies, let's say it's something you were thinking about making, and you see somebody else makes it, and you're like, you know what, we should just partner with them. Because you're like, let's just develop a relationship, because you seem to be pretty willing to partner with companies. So have as much as you can talk about, or do you have anything that's built a business relationship that's happened because of Home Gym Con or anywhere else where you've just said, you know what, that makes sense for us?
100%. I think we've probably partnered with 5 or 6 different people through going there, either, you know, buying some of their stuff or selling some of their stuff, then buying ours. So we've developed a bunch of really close friendships and business partnerships from going to that space.
You said selling their stuff. So you mean like, do you put their stuff on your website, or do you brand it with like you buy it from them, brand it with the HomeGrown Lifting brand, and then sell it on your website? Which way is it?
We like to buy from people and brand with our stuff if we can. You know, just no offense to anybody else, but if we're going to sell stuff, we want it to have our name on it, put our name behind it. There's a few things, you know, like our D-ball. It doesn't financially make sense to brand that with our stuff. But that's a company we met at Home Gym Con, and they were like, hey, this is what we sell. It's really cool. It's American made. And so we said, heck yeah, let's bring it in. Okay.
I was curious about that because, well, you know, obviously I called you guys to tell you about the bullet pulley thing and all that. But I had a sense that you guys would be willing to maybe partner with companies. I just didn't know what it looked like if you actually did it. So that's more information just for me. You mentioned that you're going to possibly have a premium bumper by year's end. That was like 7 months ago. You guys were in research and development and material sourcing, right? But you said you're trying to have something by the end of the year. Can you give us a status on that?
That's unfortunately probably been put on the back burner a little bit, not because we can't do it, but just because the demand for, you know, our economy crumb bumper has been so high that I feel like it doesn't do our company or our customers it does our company and our customers a disservice to put some of our efforts towards that. There's other companies that sell those, and I think if that's what you're looking for, there's definitely some really great options out there. And for us, we for the time being are probably going to stick with giving a really high quality economy option that anybody out there can purchase.
All right, so you have another question. Says, do you guys have a gym for the employees?
Yeah, I mean we've got our folding rack set up over here and all that, but I'll be honest, by the time you're done working and moving bumper plates around, you don't need a gym that much.
Okay.
It's a gym membership in and of its own to work here. So if you want to work out, we've got some college kids who work here, and I know they love our loadable dumbbells. We'll load those things up and do curls while they're on break.
Of course, you got to do curls, yeah.
So curls, yeah. So yeah, if you work here and you want to work out with our stuff, have at it.
Well, I mean, that's actually, I would say, it's probably an easy way for you to get product videos too, because somebody wants to work, you just go ahead and just film that. So I'm assuming says people can hear weights in the background.
Oh yeah, you can hear them. They're saying they can hear them now.
Yeah, they said they could hear weights in the background.
Oh yeah, we're starting up production now, so you're probably starting to hear some. I've got my door closed, but unfortunately, it's a loud process.
Oh, no, that's fine. I mean, it's not bad. It sounds like people working out. So I would assume that's why they asked the question. Because I mean, you have a home gym, so it's like, well, how much would you work out? But then I thought about, well, you got to do some of it there, because how do you test the products if you don't? You can't go put everything in your house, So your wife's not going to go for that. I know she's into marketing, but she's not going to go for that. Yeah,
she needs her garage space. When it's cold out, her Sienna takes precedence over my weights.
I hear that. All right. So as we wrap up, man, holiday shopping season's around the corner. Is there anything we should be on the lookout for? You guys gonna have like Black Friday sales? Tell me about, what do you have coming up from from HomeGrown Lifting?
Yeah, we're 100% gonna be aggressive with our sales this Black Friday. I can't really. One, we haven't really decided what we're going to do yet, and two, even if we had, we can't really release it. But if you're interested in it and you're listening and you want to, get the inside scoop, just go online, sign up for our email list. We always email them out, and come early November, you'll start seeing some emails from us promoting them and giving you some special offers and discounts and things like that.
All right, so let's see. We've got the link for that right here. So you guys, I've got it right there in your bio. So everybody go follow HomeGrown Lifting on Instagram. And then, of course, you guys definitely go check out homegrownlifting.com. I'm going to put the link to your website in the live chat and in the description. Actually, it's already in the description for this video. So you guys can go ahead and just check all that out. So you guys can follow Will, sign up for that newsletter and everything else. And like he said, just call him. And if you call at a, reasonable hour, then he's gonna, he will answer your questions. I'd say check out the website first. Don't just call him asking questions. Check out, let's just back up. Check out the website first. See what they have. Don't call them and say, hey, do y'all have check out the website. Then call him if you have any questions about the stuff that's on the website. I probably should have said it that way first.
And I tell you what, I just remembered we are doing a giveaway right now. I think it closes in about 2 or 3 days on our Instagram, a free 350-pound set. So go on and give us a follow. There's a post about it. So if you're out there and want a chance to win a 350-pound set of plates, shipped to your house, shipping's paid for, give us a follow.
That's at HomeGrown Lifting on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
Man, that is outstanding. There you go. See, so all of you guys who are watching now, you just got the scoop. You need to go follow at HomeGrown Lifting on Instagram and make sure that you, when they follow you, what do they have to do so that that they followed you? Do they put like a comment on the Instagram, on the post?
There is a post. I believe you have to follow and comment on it.
Let's see if I can find this.
My wife, the marketing genius, made it all up, so I don't know exactly what it is. But
so here, I'm going to help out. I found the post. So right there. Boom, I just put the post in the live chat.
Perfect.
And so so everybody who's on watching on Facebook and on YouTube, the link is right there. So you guys can go Go after the show is over and go and click on that. And then you said they have to comment.
Yeah, I'll have to look at what it is. I think you comment and share, and maybe. And then
Okay.
I think you can add it to your story or something. You get some more entries.
Yeah.
But
Nice. Okay. Well, that's awesome, man. Will, thank you so much for jumping in here. Oh, we got one more question for you. How many times did you think that you dropped the bumpers at Home Gym Con? Because they said that machine was running.
Oh yeah, that was
Over under 1,000 times.
Oh, I think we got up to like 1,800 times.
That's a lot.
We shut it off. We shut it off when the strongman was going because we didn't want to be too egregious, but that thing was running for sure.
Nice. Well, man, I appreciate you being here. Like I said, man, you are welcome 100% anytime to come back. Anytime you have anything to release, and matter of fact, come back when you got your Black Friday stuff out. I mean, it's Black Friday, so I'll be up and we'll be doing the show. So, boom, I'll just put you down for Black Friday. You come on and you can announce, hey, we got this stuff on sale today, and let people know what they'll need to do at that time in order to get the sales and all that. All right. But man, thanks for being here, man. And you have an awesome day. All right.
Awesome. Thank you. You too. I'm sure we'll talk to you here soon. We appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Later, Will.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. So that was my guy, Will, from Homegrown Lifting. That's an awesome dude. You guys make sure that you go check out homegrownlifting.com. I'll go ahead and I'll throw that up there. I should have shown it a little bit earlier. So first of all, follow Homegrown at Homegrown Lifting on Instagram. This is the post that he was talking about. I'll go ahead and I'll share my screen, let you guys check it out. This is the post he was talking about. You're going to go to that post and you get a set of 350-pound set of Homegrown Lifting plates. You're going to follow them. You have to like their last 3 posts and tag a lifting buddy in the comments. And then you can get extra entries if you share the post to your story. They're going to be announcing the winner Tuesday, September 17th. Today is Friday the 13th. And this is shipping is only available to those in the lower 48 states. So if you're in Alaska, sorry. If you're in Hawaii, sorry. But other than that, but if you're in the continental United States, not Puerto Rico or Guam or anything like that, then you guys can enter that and you'll be eligible for it. All right. So it is now 7:56. Let's check out the comment section. He said, Jay said, I tried it. Too many directions he doesn't understand. He's not tech savvy. So first of all, just follow him, right? And then tag. Then what you got to do is you just so you post a comment and name 3 people that you follow on Instagram. All right. Let me say this now. Do not tag me. Do not tag me in the giveaways that you got, the contest giveaways that you see on Instagram. Don't tag. And this is not just for this one. Feel free to not tag me. I don't enter giveaways. And I know people sometimes tag because they're just trying to think of oh, well, who else could I tag? Right. Don't tag somebody else. I usually delete those and I remove myself from those tags. And it's mostly because it clutters up my feed and makes it more difficult for me to find the stuff that I'm actually looking for. It's not because I hate the brands or anything like that. I'm just saying it kind of makes, I don't really have a ton of time on social media, to be honest with you. And so when people tag me, it kind of clutters up my feed a lot. And no, absolutely not. Do not contact me in every giveaway. Please, I'm telling you, it slows down I go in there and I see all these notifications, people so-and-so, people tagged me, and I look on it and it's for some dang giveaway. I swear, I'm just what normally happens when somebody does that too much is they get unfollowed and eventually I just block them so they can't even mention me. Because it just, if it's once or twice, that's fine. But if it happens, the people who do that all the time, you see a drop in my follower count because I'm y'all got to go. Because it just slows life down. It just slows down. It makes me less productive. Let's put it like that. All right. So then I turn into the old man again, yelling at the kids to get off his lawn. All right. So we're going to go. It is now 7:59. So I am getting ready to do Free for All Friday. You guys can come and you guys can come and start getting your topics ready. If you have something you want to talk about, you can just jump in here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share that link in a second. But first, let's go ahead and say what's up to the, let's see, it's 8 o'clock. Good morning to the Mountain Time Zone. Welcome. If this is your first time, welcome. It is up way too early with Garage Gym Life. I'm John Graves III, founder of Garage Gym Life. Appreciate you guys being here. If this is your first time, please hit the like button, hit subscribe. If you've been here before, you know the deal. Hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? If you've been back multiple times, hit that subscribe button. Help me out. And one last thing, if you are a subscriber and you have been checking out my content, I cannot say this enough. Help me out. Hit the join button. There's a join button. It's going to be right where the subscribe button was. It's only 99 cents a month, but it goes a long way towards helping support the channel. I say this all the time, and I'm going to keep on saying it because it means a lot. Don't just watch. Hey, I don't want you to just watch this video. I need you to like, subscribe, and if you're already a subscriber, I want you to join our channel for 99 cents a month so you can help us improve YouTube for the home gym community. Okay, back to the video. All right, so there you go. Click the join button so that you can support the channel. That money goes towards microphones. It's not frivolous things. I promise. I'm going to be a good steward of the money that you guys trust me with. And I keep it low because my ultimate goal is to be sponsored by you guys. I don't want brand. I would prefer not to have any brand deals, to be honest with you. I would prefer it if I got, I'd rather get, I remember Gunnery Sergeant Jones said, well, he ended up being Master Sergeant Jones, but he was a Gunnery Sergeant at the time. And he said, I'd rather get 1% of 100 people's effort than 50% of one person's effort and 25% of somebody else. Because you get that one person that gave 50%, they're going to get tired faster. But 1% of 100 people's effort, and you can move mountains. So just, that's my spiel. I'm the world's worst salesperson, but all I can tell you is speak my heart and just tell you that I want to be sponsored by you guys because you guys are the reason why I am doing this. And a lot of this is because when I say this is why I'm doing this is because let's go back to that thing I said from Lad Bible. And, I remember being in your shoes, like where I was trying to build out my home gym. And I had articles. This is 2001. So I had magazine articles that were kind of telling me what to get. And because I had been working in a public gym, I kind of knew what I wanted. But a lot of times I was just at them. There just wasn't information out there. And so I was kind of helpless, So let's see here. Let's go ahead. So we had a question about Home Gym Con. Matter of fact, I'll do this right now. If you guys go to Home Gym Con and you get your tickets, make sure you use KL10. All right. So anybody who's watching this video, you get the link to go to Home Gym Con. Use KL10. Help my guy Kurt out. That's gonna give him a little bit of commission off the sales of the tickets. And Kurt puts out a ton of information for you guys on his YouTube channel as well. He's also putting together the Strongman Throwdown. So, this is your chance to give back and to go check out one of the coolest events for home gym owners. So go to homegymcon.com and then use promo code KL10 and you'll be supporting Kurt. And he said that money goes right into the competition, So there you go. It's going to go right to the athletes. So definitely do that. My guy, Rory Ellis. What's up, man? He said, good morning, sir. Hey, I'm not a sir. I'm a staff sergeant. Don't you ever forget it. All right, so it is now time. This is the part of the dang. I'm never sure that this is a good idea, but it's always fun. Why not? So here is the link. If you are watching live, here is the link to join. Before I post this link, it's going to be in the live chat. You guys can join the show Free for All Friday. Here's the rules. You can talk about anything that's home gym related. So it's got to be home gym related. Number 2, no profanity, no cussing. We got people listening and they're taking their kids to school or whatever, or they're listening while their kids are running around. I don't want to teach the kids any words that they may learn them at school, but I don't want them learning them from my show. All right. So and then the third thing is that we got to cut it off at the 8:55 mark because we've got our final guest, Andy from Bremmy Products, is going to be coming on. Okay, so here we go. I've put the link in the description. I put the link in the live chat. So there it is right there. All right, so that is your link. You just click on that link and you'll be able to join the show. All right, talk about anything home gym related you want. But while I wait to see if anybody has something they want to talk about, I got something I want to talk about. And that is, I mentioned that, the products that are in this Lad Bible article, I would have probably purchased back when I was setting up my home gym. And the reason why I say that, so I don't know if I would have gotten that bench, but I would have probably gotten this janky thing right there. And the reason I can say that is because I did that. So let's just break down what my home gym journey looked like, okay? So first of all, let's stop sharing. So my home gym journey was pretty, it started in 2001, all right? So I began with 2 70-pound dumbbells in a wooden box. I don't have the box anymore, but I do still have those dumbbells. So those dumbbells are older than 2 of my kids. Like I said, I got them in 2001. I lived in a loft apartment, didn't have a lot of space. And this wooden box was not, it wasn't a box that you see for like box jumps or anything like that. No, it was a low box. It was basically, I bought it from the gym where I had worked previously. They were getting rid of them and upgrading the Reebok steps. So it is roughly the height of Reebok steps. So it was just high enough for me to be able to bench press on it. Okay. So you maybe like 5-6 inches off the ground. Okay. And it was just long enough for me to lay down on it. And so if I wanted to bench press, I would take those 70s, lay down on the box, and I would bench press on them. Or if I didn't want to use the box, then, and to just show you how it goes, so I would bench on the box, then I'd take the box out of the way, and then my next exercise would be floor presses. Then the next exercise after that, I would stand back up, and I would use the box as to brace one hand, and I would do one-arm dumbbell rows with that box. I don't have any pictures of any of that stuff, unfortunately, but I'm just telling you that that's what I did. That was my home gym, right? And then when I got to the point where I could actually hammer curl the 70s, I would do hammer curls with the 70s, right? And so that went on for a few months, and then I moved from Chattanooga to Beaufort, Georgia, and I had a house. I was renting a house, and it had a shed. So my shed gym is where I got my first janky rack, and you guys can possibly see it. So this is it right here. So this is my shed gym in Beaufort, Georgia. All right. So you see like my original ab bench. I ended up getting rid of that one, but I bought a couple of years ago, I bought another one from Amazon. Body Solid actually makes it now because so the ab, that one though I bought actually from Ab Bench. You guys see like the creases in it and all that because I was actually using it. And then over there, over my right shoulder, you can see my janky Weeder bench that somebody gave me. So I had a coworker who found out that I was working out at home, and he said, I got a bench I can give you. And I should have known better, but I didn't. So he gave me this janky Weeder bench. And what you guys see there is a bar, that's an Olympic bar, but my first bar was actually a standard bar. Okay, so you guys see all these standard. Actually, wait a minute, that might have been the standard bar. Yeah, that was still my standard bar because you see all these standard plates on that plate tree. So yeah, I got stacks of standard plates on the plate tree. And then if you look on my, oh my God, Jared, come on in, Jared. All right, let's see, Jared's probably in the middle of a workout.
Yes.
All right, got his dang nipples out again. I told you about that last time. I'm just messing with you, man. Anyway, but so yeah, you got here just in time for story time with Grandpa. All right. So let's see. Then we got over my kind of like on my left side these adjustable dumbbell handles, right? So I got these adjustable dumbbell handles right there, and it's just junk, right? Over there, over my right shoulder, is the leg extension attachment for that bench. It also came with dang celebrity from Nottingham. Hey, what's up? That is one the only tattooed saying. Tattoos covered up. Got him.
I am
Live and
currently
direct in the UK.
I am currently out on the field working, but I thought I'd stop in just to say hello.
Look at that. Are you checking out my back garden gym that I used to have? Check that out. Not quite as nice as yours. Not quite as nice as yours, man.
It's
Oh,
not far off. I mean, that's
good.
about the same kind of wood.
Yeah, I've got gravel as my floor. So that little railroad tie right there. I remember I did German volume training, so it was like 10 sets of 10 for a little bit, and I would put 10 rocks up on that railroad tie right there. And then when as each set was over, I would throw the rock back onto the floor, onto the ground, and that's how I knew I had done enough sets. You see, nice. I see my bicycle there, so that was my cardio. Ride the bicycle or go for a run outside. But yeah, that's what I did there. I've got like the janky old weightlifting poster. I actually still have that in the attic. I need to get it back down from the attic.
There's one thing missing from that picture.
And what is that?
That is a Garage Gym Media flag.
Man, they didn't exist yet. This was 2001. All right, look how fresh-faced and young I look, man. I was about 180 pounds in this picture. I was 181 in this picture. And it was like, that was it. So from there, then I moved but it was at this point. So think about it. I'm in this situation and I'm like, I knew what I had wasn't enough. So that's when I was really like looking for equipment, right? And that search for equipment lasted for quite some time. So it was like I didn't stop that process of buying equipment probably to like 2013. So that's a long time of buying stuff. This sucks, get rid of it. Or this is good, hang on to it, And the gym just kept on, my gym looks a lot different now, but that's
always expanding.
Yeah, man. It was like a legitimate journey. I'll show you something else. All right. So then I met my wife in 2002 and we moved to a rental house with, also there's no pull-up bar in this shed because there's a rental. So I didn't want to do any drilling or anything like that. And I didn't have a squat rack. So I didn't have a way to squat. I didn't know how to Steinborn yet. So what I would do if I wanted to squat, I would have to do a clean. I would do a power clean and basically do a front squat. So that's what I did there. Then I moved with my wife, 2002, we go to our first garage gym, right? Look at this guy. Look at that. Look at that guy.
Damn.
Look at that. See that? All right, so let's see here. So we've got so the same ad bench is still there. That is, I had a couple of stall mats, not a lot of stall mats, but it had stall mat. I wonder. Okay, so see, look on the wall. We have found an incredible. The Incredible Hulk movie had just come out, and so we put that on the wall. All right, you have to like speak it into existence, right? So okay, well, I'll put that on the wall, then I'll end up looking like that. But yeah, what you guys can't see is the washing machine. So we had a washer and dryer. So for you to see that, I have to show you this. So there, right there. So there's my dog on the washer, and that's me. I got some of those Bowflex Select Tech dumbbells, right? And look at this thing here. And I think it was a little too heavy. So okay, so I liked it because I was able to.
I think I'm losing you guys.
Oh, hey, if you drop out, man, it's cool. It's free for all Friday. So see my dog at the time. So I swap out the weight with I was doing a drop set with the Select Tech dumbbells. That's a parabody rack right there. Go back over here. So that's my first power rack ever. That was a parabody rack that I got from a coworker. And he just, I think I paid like $300 for it. It was used and it was plate loaded. And that was my rack. I did everything with that thing. Then in 2000, so I had that until 2004. And then in 2004, I deployed to Iraq. And in Iraq, I continued to work out. So that is inside a bunker underground. That's an underground bunker. And those dumbbells in my hand, we paid one of the Iraqi locals. I said, hey, he was like the guy that could get you anything. You just don't ask a lot of questions. And I said, hey, I need some dumbbells. So as long as you paid him American money, he would buy you whatever you wanted. Or he would get you whatever you wanted. So I don't remember how much I paid for him, but I slipped him some money, and he went and got some dumbbells from somewhere. All right, showed up and I had my dumbbells. So I worked out there, and then Rory, you'll like this one, and you too, Kurt, because we did that until we took the city of Fallujah. Or else I worked out in the base gym. Well, then after we took the city of Fallujah, we ended up we took over a house, okay, of an abandoned house, and then we strategically took equipment and located it elsewhere from like the Iraqi version of Dick's Sporting Goods. So then we outfitted this house with weights, and so I had a home gym in Iraq as well. And so there we go. So this was my Iraq adventure. I had these dumbbells, and then after that, we had like some weights in a home gym. It's all kilos. So I understand what life is like for you, Matt, because I've lifted with kilo plates before, and not just in competition. I've lifted with kilo plates before. Yeah, I hated it. Went back as soon as I got back to America. I went back to freedom units. Okay.
I've been kind today, and I've worn my American hat.
You know what, man? My wife is from Brooklyn, so shout out to you for wearing the Brooklyn hat. Here we go. I'll give you one. I appreciate you showing your. There, we'll just do that. Boom. Show the hat. There you go. Well, matter of fact, let's do a pan around. What does England look like? There we go. That's England right there. It looks
full
like
360, Matt. Full 360.
Hang on, man.
All
right.
I am literally.
You're literally out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, we've got deers.
Okay, what's that?
Just had a herd of deer run past.
How far are you?
I don't know if you saw them.
How far?
So I don't know if we lost you then, but yeah.
From the nearest, how far away are you from the nearest city?
From civilization?
Yeah.
Nearest city? I'm currently in Telford, my hometown. We've got about 80,000 here.
You're in Telford.
Why
does it look like
and I'm in the actual town at the moment.
Okay.
Yep. But the site that I'm on is roughly, what would you say? Probably 20 American football fields in size.
All right.
So you can't see anything except for field.
So we've got some questions in the chat. First of all, Rory said he needs a Garage Gym Life banner where he's pulling conventional, not sumo. That's not going to happen. We only deadlift in a functional way here. All right. We don't do any of that conventional.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Conventional is the only way to pull deadlift.
Oh my God. What? So, okay, let me ask you a question. When you do Atlas Stone, right, and you pick up it off the ground, your legs are open, right?
Well, I can't put my toes underneath a concrete ball. That's true.
Okay, so bam, you are sumo every time you do. So as soon as you go away from just a barbell and you do something conventional, anytime you have to pick up something in a functional way, it's always sumo. That's it. That's all I'm saying. All right, the end. All right. Kurt wants to know when I was in Fallujah, and yeah, I was there for Fallujah. I was part of Pale Horse, so I was there 04 to 05. And you recognize the acronym STEEL. Now you guys call it. There you go. He said you strategically transport equipment to an alternate location, and we call it like strategically taking equipment and locating it elsewhere, right? Rory said he's gonna DM me a picture of a janky Afghan gym he trained at in Afghanistan. That's
Were
right.
all the dumbbells missing? Because John knows where they were.
I'm just look. All I'm telling you is the weights showed up at a house, and we would go on patrols. We slept in that house. You wake up, you work out. So it was still a home gym. I've been faithful to home gym my entire life. Kurt says he wants you to know that he served with the 7th Rifles, the Irish Guard, and the 10th from Scotland when he was in Afghanistan. So he's letting you know that, Matt. And Andrew said that somebody lifting while on a podcast is the most home gym thing he's seen. Look, this is free for all Friday. Andrew, the link is in the live chat. If you want to come in here and talk about any random thing, you come on in, talk about it. You can talk about your COVID bunker workouts, whatever y'all want to talk about. What are you working on tonight, Matt, by the way?
Tonight, I'm currently on my deload week because obviously the competition was Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tonight will be lightweight deadlifts. I'll be doing 220 kilo or 441 freedom units for reps. So I'm staying light tonight.
What I want to know is what's the general health status of your manager, because you were pretty upset with him because he didn't give you time off for your deload.
Yeah.
Is he doing okay physically? Is he?
Yeah, he's had his holiday in Italy, come back and he's fine.
I'm just trying to give you an alibi in case something happens to him. You can say, on this day, I said he was fine. All right? You know,
There's video
Scotland Yard says they need your assistance with an investigation. I'll give you an alibi.
No, he's alive and well. He's not very strong, so that's still the case. But there we go.
There's that. All right. Kurt says the stone is not a deadlift; it's a pick. Okay, I hear what you're telling me. All I'm telling you is deadlifting is when you pick up a weight off of the ground, and stone lifting is when you're picking a weight up off the ground. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying about that.
Yeah,
No,
but a deadlift is conventional, and sumo's for women's glutes.
The sumo is the most sports specific way to deadlift, and it's also the way that's the most applicable to normal life.
And for those that can't manage full range of motion.
Now I would argue, because I've seen, look, Pete Rubens is my dude, right? I've seen Pete Rubens deadlift 900 pounds conventional, and he couldn't get down to get the bar when he tried sumo. It was only 135 pounds on there. He's like we're like pushing on his back. I was like, how is this possible that you can't do this when you squat with your legs open? I don't understand that. I just don't understand that. Carp said, I think we all had gyms that looked similar to that at one point. And Rory said that, hey, it's not stealing, it's just tactically acquired. That's it. All I'm doing is changing custodians, because all the weights that I mentioned in this video that were in Iraq are still in Iraq. I left them right there. I did not bring them home. I did not take anything. No, they're still right back there where I found them. That's it.
Essentially, John, what you did over in Iraq was use the weights and just didn't re-rack them.
No, I always put them away. Now, in this picture, we did not have what you call my picture of my Iraq thing. We didn't have in the bunker. I didn't have anywhere to put anything down. So you guys see, so like right there, the bench I'm using, that was a sandbags that, yes, we filled ourselves. That's my cot I slept on, right? So roll up, get up out of the rack, work out, get up, get to work. Which is, I mean, that's just the way to live in general. That's what I'm gonna say right there. Jay said is an open trap bar for women's glutes. I mean, I guess you can use it for that if you do like RDLs, I guess. But I mean, I'd say it's pretty a gender neutral glute training device. I don't know what Matt uses it for. I mean, because I don't ever ask Matt about his glutes. I'm not interested.
You should.
I will not. Oh man. Okay, Rory, come on, man. Why would you say DM me? Send me this on Instagram. So Rory just sent me a picture. Did he send it? Did he send it to me on no, come on, Rory, you got to send the thing to me on send it to me on Instagram. So okay, I see what y'all are doing. I see your jokes. All right, I see all y'all messaging, DMing me the homegrown lifting Instagram thing. All right, no. That's unacceptable completely. So technically speaking,
now if I suddenly go falling down a hill.
Oh, now you got my full attention. Yeah. Is that where you guys fought off the Vikings? I mean, what is that?
This is a hill at my site that I've now got to try and traverse on foot in wellies with no rope, and it's probably, I'd say, a 60-degree incline. So if suddenly the phone starts flipping, it means I fell.
Well, if you lifted sumo, your balance would be on point. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Let's check in on Jared.
Well, not.
Yes, sir.
You doing all right? We're gonna on your next set. I'm gonna give you the solo layout. Are you still benching?
Still trying to bench.
Okay, all right. On your next set, you're gonna get solo layout. All right, you're gonna be the star. And Matt and I are gonna critique your lifting.
Got a bad shoulder, so go easy.
Oh, he's already making excuses. We don't want to hear. We ain't nobody. I'm not trying to hear that.
John, so you say, what do I want to talk about? I got two things I want to show you. First one, do you recall when you had JD on your show, and in the IM I said, hey, do you ever do anything with 1.9, a little longer, rolling cable attachment? Here it is, my guy. Yeah. Yep, he made that for me. I picked it up at Home Gym Con. Nice. They have power bar marks at 20 inches. This thing's almost, I think, 30 inches overall. Okay. It's a beast. I love it.
So that's is that like so you can use it to mimic the hand spacing you use for benching?
No, it's just more that you get I know where my hands are even because there's quite a bit of area here, real estate to grab onto. So I just make sure my whatever finger I'm going to use for whatever I'm doing, it's just nice.
I mean,
nice to have.
The reason I said it is because like if I was using that for rows, I would try to mimic my hand positioning for benching because if I was using it for rows, because then you're able to use rows to build your bench. Because technically you should roll the bar down to your chest anyway. So that's the first application I saw for that. All right, that's nice, man. How long what was the turnaround time for getting it?
Well, whenever he was on your show, and then I picked it up at Home Gym Con. That was the deal.
I mean, was it? Well, I know it probably didn't take a long time to make it, so he could have shipped it to you faster. Because if somebody's watching and they want one, they're not going to wait till Home Gym Con next. Well, theoretically, they won't wait till Home Gym Con next year. But do you know what the turnaround time was for him to actually just have it made?
Yeah, I mean, it was at least a month beforehand, and it was ready prior. I'm not sure what his lead times were looking like, but
it's about 4 weeks. Okay,
give or take. Yeah.
Okay.
Other thing I want to show you, something I came up with here.
All right.
I think life gets a little easier, but you're not ever going to decide on a rack that you can, call your final rack. So maybe this isn't going to work for you, but for me, I made pressing positions. So at every back pad angle, and that's a picture I took offline of the bench I have in the color scheme. I've set up where I need my J cups and where I need my spotter arms. I got it for my straight bars for myself and my wife, and then I've got it for my camber bars for myself and my wife. And I got to tell you, it saves a little time just peeking over here. Oh, where do I like the J cups? Where do I like the spotter arms? It's a little more efficient that way.
And your rack has numbers on it, right?
Yes, it does. Yeah, Bell's is. I think Rogue. Once you get into the west side holes, they go every 5 or something. Bell's does them every 2, and I really appreciate that.
All right, so Jay, I know which is that the
I've got the Hydra.
The Hydra, okay. That's the Hydra rack. All right. So remember Jay is he's in the heat of home gym setup. So that's a Hydra.
All right, Jay, here, behold, probably the most efficient half rack in the game. I'm going to just say it. I have the most efficient half rack in the game.
All right, how tall is it?
I've got 84 uprights on the front and back. So normally the back one's going to be shorter, but I opted to have it taller so I could get more stuff on there.
All right, and if you keep looking at that, because Jay had the question about having a 4-post rack with plate storage, whether you can still lift inside there. Yeah, and so Jay, you can see that this is what I was talking about. Like if you're lifting, the diameter of the plates on the rack plus the diameter of the plates on your bar is going to affect what you're trying to do. So you would have to be a lot deeper on your 4-post rack in order for you to be able to lift inside that. You're probably going to end up lifting outside. I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't do it, because Jared's about to demonstrate that you can, right? But it's just, you're probably not going to be able to lift inside there.
That was everything I needed to do. Yes.
Oh yeah. All right. Is this the moment of truth? The action's about to pick up. All right, Matt, let's go. We're going to critique this right here. All right.
Yeah, boy.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, I'm happy.
So Jared sets up right there. He's gonna put his feet up on the bench. All right, getting that setup position. Yeah, I'm calling color play-by-play like I'm doing a live stream. All right,
here we go.
Get the unrack down to his chest, nice and smooth. Look at that moment. Look at that. No momentum.
Yep. Nice pause on the bottom.
I don't know how many reps that is, but
We're not counting. Are you counting, Matt?
No, but he needs at least one more.
Oh yeah.
I need.
You got a Muhammad Ali. You start counting after you get tired.
Damn right.
That's it. Let's go.
Trying to control it, make it a little slower on the descent.
Okay, now he's doing a Larson press. Smoothly switches into a Larson press. And he racks the bar. Look at that. All right. Okay. So why do you press with do you just for variety? You like pressing with your feet up?
Yes. Yeah. Variety. I'm not the tallest guy. I could put some plates down here to bring my floor up a little bit, but I'm not trying to achieve maximum weight on this. Yeah, just trying to get a chest workout. So if I can go up on the feet up, feels pretty good. It's fine. If I have to bear down on something, I'll probably have to drop my feet down for balance.
Okay.
Looking at that as well. Is your bench on a decline there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's on -6. Pardon?
Yeah.
Is that to protect your shoulder?
I just, my bench offers 13 or something different angles, so I try to just get a variety. I'm not trying to do nothing powerlifting specific or specific number goals. I'm just trying to get a good chest workout and kind of work around this clicking SC joint. It's still kind of giving me some trouble.
Okay. All right, so we got some comments. I'm gonna say right now, I like your little chart. Okay, I think that's good, and I actually like that more than those, those magnets that you can put. Different companies make them, that you can put magnets on your rack, because like rack reminders, I know made them, but the thing I found with it is that they always slide off. Because I'm putting the J hooks on at different places, and every time I put rack reminders or any kind of magnet on my power rack, they always end up sliding off. So I actually like that you just wrote down, what number setting you need for your for whatever lift you're doing. I think that's actually pretty cool. And I like that you got it for your wife and for you. So that makes a lot of sense right there. Jay said it looks nice. And he said that he was looking at the 49 by 49. But Jay, I think you were looking at the Manticore, right? This is the Hydra, but you were looking at the Manticore, I think. But at least this gives you an idea. Jared's got a number of bells of steel things in his home gym, so that kind of gives you an idea of what their rack looks like. And Joey has arrived. All right, we can start the party now. Joey HFVS said, "Big Jared in the house." I try to talk to him about always having sleeves on when he comes up on my show, but he doesn't care, man. He's always flexing his large arms in front of everybody.
Hey, gotta show him up. You put him.
That's it. I got to get you on. If the thing is that the show happens during the day, during your workday, Matt, I'd have you like deadlifting during the show, so everybody can see. Because Matt is a pretty strong dude. Matt, the tattoo saying is a pretty strong dude, especially in the deadlift. Carp said, "Feel you on the bad shoulder. Dad life is tough." And Joey said they don't make sleeves big enough for Jared. You know, problem. That could be the problem. We lost you for a second, but you're back, Matt. You are back. All right, so let's see here. We got, as a reminder, we do have Andy coming up in about 30 minutes. We're going to have Andy from Bremmy Products coming up.
Yeah, I'm to the back of the site. I'm getting further away from people.
Okay. All right, so we just lost Matt right there. So we got Andy from Bremmy Products coming up. He's going to be coming up in about 25 minutes here. And so we're going to, you guys, if you have any questions about Bremmy, go ahead and start throwing them into the live chat. If I see them, I will star them so that we make sure that I don't forget them. All right, now, and in case, and you know what, while we're at it, while you got a second, go ahead and follow Bremmy Strong on Instagram. Just show my guys some love. All right. All right. So the thing that, let's go back to, what are you like? You're supposed to be working out, Jared. Jared is now taking a break from his workout to go over and type in the live chat. All right. You don't have time. You don't have time to type on the live chat, Jared.
I'm having too much fun, John.
No. It's you between, hey, get back to your set. Let's go. See, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. Back to the timer just went off. Let's go. Okay. It's still your set. Let's go. This is why I am not letting y'all. I'm not doing any live streams while I'm lifting. Y'all ain't about to heckle me. Oh, looks like he went up in weight. All right, Jared has added some weight to the bar. And he's just casually lifting his deep dish plates that he's flexing in front of all of us who wishes that we had jumped on it before they were forced to stop selling them.
Yes, sir.
All right. Everything all right? Okay, shoulders all right. All right, good.
All good. All good.
All right, nice. All right, so, man, anyway, so the reason why I was showing you guys all those pictures, though, you know, everything that I have is because I try to keep in mind when I see things like this article from Lad Bible, that article from Lad Bible, a lot of times we turn up our nose at that stuff, which we should. It's trash, okay? The equipment they list in the article is trash. But then we look at the people who buy the stuff and we kind of like, I don't think that we give them the grace that we should sometimes, because like instead we'll talk about, like somebody will, like I'll go in our home gym, and normally that doesn't happen there. But I've been on some other places where somebody will post like their equipment and they already feel bad about what they have, right? They say, hey, because they'll say something like, you know, it's not much, but this is what I have. And then you'll get some troll coming on there who'll say, oh, you should get this. Or then you got the world famous, you should have got this because you should buy nice. That way you don't have to buy twice. Or buy once, cry once. That's great, but I'm telling you, this guy right here, let me go ahead and show this again. This guy right here, not only did I not have the information I needed to set up a high-speed, low-drag, high-tech home gym, I was in somebody else's shed. I was renting the house I was in, so that shed didn't belong to me. Couldn't really make a whole lot of changes. I definitely couldn't put in a floor, so I could put in like mats or floors or anything like that. And if I bought something super expensive, where was I going to put it? I didn't have a way to lock the shed door. But ultimately, I didn't have the budget for that. I just didn't have that money in my budget. So I told you, you think I was using that weeder bench because I just love risking my life on every set? No, it's because somebody gave it to me, and that's what I could afford at the time. You know, so I think we need to. I try to remember that when I do my videos. And so that's why when you guys hear me do like a video about something, I'll say, okay, well, this is a good gym. This is a good piece of equipment for someone who's just starting out. I'm remembering when I was just starting out. I'm remembering when I was this guy before I started Garage Gym Life. I'm in a one-car garage, and I had to buy a used power rack from a coworker. I didn't have like I said, I paid $300 for that power rack that you guys see over my shoulder. I've got these adjustable dumbbells down by my feet. I got those from Walmart, adjustable dumbbells handles, and I got them on sale. And then I bought standard plates to add to it from Craigslist. I have been to a lot of janky locations chasing weights on Craigslist. All right. And so I think that a lot of times I'm going to sound like an old person. All right. But the reality is that you guys are spoiled nowadays. You guys have so much stuff available to you that when somebody, and a lot of you guys, and this is a blessing, I'm not knocking you for it. You've got the disposable income to buy things, right? But you got to always remember that there's always somebody out there who doesn't have the funds to buy this stuff. They don't have the funds to buy the nice stuff that you think is the best. And so I don't ever knock somebody for buying something and then letting their gym grow with them. Another thing that I keep in mind is at this time I had just stopped fighting. So you guys can see I'm probably like 185, 190 pounds there. But my physique is like a fighter physique. So how I trained was affected by what I had to do, right? So my gym, when I started competing in powerlifting, looked a lot different because what I was into, what my interests were, had changed. And so when you let your gym grow with you, you don't run the risk of getting a whole bunch of stuff, spending $5,000, $10,000, and then all of a sudden you say, "Oh, I'm not into that anymore. I want to try this other thing." Maybe, like Jared, you've got like the bad shoulder. If you decided you wanted to start training like with kettlebells and maces and stuff, you've still got all that other equipment right there in your gym. You're like, well, what are you going to do? What am I going to do with all this other stuff? You don't want to like get rid of it. And so to me, the idea of letting your gym grow with you and matching what your interests are at the time is what is the best approach. Carlos said, I'm sorry, not Carlos, but Jay said, yeah, my rent is $3,000 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. I'm trying my best to get the best I can afford. And 100%, man, I'm telling you, don't let somebody that you don't even know personally, who got stuff sent to him for free on Instagram or because of his YouTube, talk you into buying something that you can't afford. Even if that person is me. Don't let me talk you ever. Please, don't let me talk you into buying something that you can't afford. Because you can't eat weights. And I'm going to tell you right now that when it's time to go to the grocery store, they're not going to let you trade in your power rack for it. Don't ever outspend your means. And I'm talking about, like, if I buy a power rack, I make sure that it's extra income. I'm saving up for a power rack right now, and it's probably going to take me 5 months to save up for it. But it has taken longer in the past because it's dependent on what I have going on. I got to pay the rent. I got a mortgage. I have to pay the mortgage. I got to pay, I still got to pay electricity bills, all these other things. I'm not about to be sitting there having my kids eating top ramen because I wanted the fanciest power rack that somebody I don't even know on a personal level got paid to tell me was the best rack ever. Nah. And that's kind of like goes back to what I was saying about Rogue. I'm not knocking Rogue. Rogue has great products. But if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. And I'll also say another thing that I didn't really think about until I started doing this. I've had a bunch of racks come through my gym now. And, if I go to sell them, you're not necessarily going to get back what they retail for, right? So a lot of times I'm selling racks that were sent to me as part of a brand deal. So it doesn't really matter. I'm not saying it doesn't matter to me how much I make for it, but it's different if I'm selling you something that's a $3,000 rack, $5,000 rack, but I didn't have to pay for it, compared to if I spent $5,000 on a rack, then I'm trying to get rid of it because I need to get something else. Or I found out, and heck, I call them out. Major fitness racks, after you've had them for a while, they start to no longer be square. All right. You start having more and more problems with major fitness racks after you've had them for a while, right? So if you go to you say, oh man, this rack isn't good for what I need it for anymore. You try to sell it to somebody else, you're not going to get your money back. I'm just flat out telling you that. You're not going to get your money back. So I'm a big fan of buying quality products. But if I'm just starting out, I'm buying my stuff used. Look at it the same philosophy as buying a car. I don't know about you guys, but my first car wasn't as nice as my car now. I bought what I could afford. I mean, my dad bought my first car for me. It wasn't the most expensive one. I had to pay for the insurance. Then I moved out. My next car I had to pay for myself. And I'm telling you, it wasn't a nice car. It was something that just got me from point A to point B. So I took the exact same approach to setting up a home gym that I took to buying a car. And as I could afford it, I bought a better car. As I could afford it, I traded my stuff in and got better equipment. Like after I got back from Iraq and from my deployment to Iraq, we actually had money, right? So then I contacted Keith Harris. So you guys remember my yellow power rack that was in some of my videos. I contacted Keith Harris. I had known him since like 1997. He was the former owner of Dynabody Fitness. And I got the home gym stuff that I had. So I got a dumbbell rack, started getting dumbbells off of Craigslist. Let's see. It was nothing to me. I remember driving way too far just for a set of 30-pound dumbbells on Craigslist. I had like a radius that I would, say, okay, I'm not going to drive further than this for this thing, right? But I know people who've driven from South Carolina to Georgia to get home gym equipment. They've driven like 2-3 hours, and it's easy. They're like, okay, well, I'm still going to spend less if I drive to get this stuff used than I would if I were to pay for it new. There's nothing wrong with that, but don't feel like you need to buy brand new stuff.
John,
hey, there's a Dynabody piece of equipment right there. Look at that.
Yeah, and that's funny you mentioned that. I drove 3 hours to, I think they're called Marysville, Tennessee is where their location
Marysville,
was.
Tennessee.
I brought this one home, and I brought one of their used incline lever rows, plate-loaded incline lever rows, and I had to drive home with the hatchback open on my wife's MDX.
There you go.
And it was cold that day too. And but I still have that one. The other one's gone, but I really like my leg extension curl.
Man, I'm telling you, I bought my dumbbell rack that I still have downstairs, but I didn't even have all my dumbbells yet because I was still buying dumbbells on Craigslist. We bought our first treadmill from Dynabody. No, we didn't. It was our second treadmill. That one lasted longer than the first one I had, though. But I'm just saying that you guys you kind of need to, like, I don't want to say it's peer pressure, but it kind of is, because you see these people who, like, their hobby is setting up a home gym, right? And they've been doing it for a long time. So they've got this nice stuff and they do the Instagram pictures, and I'm not knocking that at all. I like looking at it. Hey, you can tag me in pictures of that. You can tag me pictures of your gym. Don't tag me in giveaways on Instagram. But I'm saying that I don't let the fact that these people have these other things influence what I buy, because my funds aren't connected to their bank account. Right? Joey said I was a shed gym influencer before it was cool. I don't know if there was such a thing, but yeah, nobody knew I was there. Matt says he'll try to catch us next time somewhere less fieldy. Hey, I'm glad you jumped in here, man. Like I said, it's free for all Friday. Jay said I was taught to use what you got to get what you want. 100%. So I would get stuff. My coworkers would give me stuff. This is all part of story time with Uncle John, with Grandpa. I would get coworkers who would give me stuff once they found out I had a home gym. I see you, Jared. And I would take anything they gave me. Everything they gave me, I took it, because I would either use it or I would take it to Play Against Sports and trade it in for what I actually did with it. Now there's not Craigslist, or I would sell it on Craigslist. Now people don't really do Play Against Sports as much anymore. They're not really doing Craigslist, but you still have Facebook Marketplace. And I will also say that I give away a lot of equipment that I do reviews on because I know people who want to set up their home gyms. So I'm trying to pay it forward. I give people stuff, assuming so like that one power rack that I said was a piece of trash. I got rid of it But I was like, I told the person I was going to give it to, I said, man, I can't in good conscience give you this rack. I can't do it. I don't trust it. But as a general rule, there are certain companies where I won't even work with them. And I tell them flat out, I said, look, you're not going to get a good review from me. And then I'm going to be stuck with what I consider to be a piece of garbage. So there's no point in me doing this review. And I know that costs me money, to be honest with you. But I can't be that guy that's on Instagram or on YouTube telling you that something is wonderful when I know in my mind this thing is hot dumpster juice, because I'm like, I like Jared, just to use Jared as an example. I don't know if the rest of your family is at home, but if Jared got hurt working out right now, who's going to come lift the weight off of him if he didn't have quality equipment? Are you about to go show me the kid, actual?
No, I didn't want to interrupt, but I have to run. So I just want to say thanks. Nice talking with you. And I hope everyone has an awesome weekend.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you jumping in here, man.
Okay. Take care. Thanks.
Right, later, dude. All right. So, you guys so you're watching him work out. If he got hurt and he's the only one in the house, who's going to come rescue him? Or what if he's working out and Rory posted on Instagram this awesome video of himself lifting with his little girl, right? What happens if he gets hurt? Is that little girl supposed to call 911 before she's able to talk? Why would you put your kids through that? So I keep that in mind when I recommend equipment. This, I can't recommend something that I don't feel personally safe using myself. Or if it's something that I think is decent, but I think I'll give you a caveat and I'll say, all right, this is good for you, but if you bench press more than this amount of weight or you squat more than this amount of weight, this won't work for you. So I try to give caveats. So it's I'm balancing the two things. Rory said, amen, dude. Nice equipment is a luxury. Working out is a privilege. It's easy for us to take that for granted. The fact that we have to go to a gym to replicate a form of struggle says it all. Oh, I mean, there are ways to struggle in real life now. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, periodically, you guys are going to hear me come out with this rant because we have the ultimate first world problems where you have this thing where they try to flex how nice their gym is. And it's fine for you to be proud of what you have. What I don't like is when I see people put somebody else down because they bought something and you're like, oh, you wasted your money. Why'd you spend your money on that? You should have gotten this. That's none of your business what that dude spent his money on at his own house. That's just how I feel about that. So I always keep my journey in mind, and that affects how I make all of my recommendations. Let's see here. Joey said an underrated question to ask before giving advice is, what goals do you have with training? And what style training do you do? Yes, 100%. I can't stand it when people are like, yeah, well, how should I? That's why I actually don't do those, where I do I'm not knocking people who do. I'm just saying the reason why I don't do the home gym build outs is because I'm well, I don't know how to recommend your, the only 5 pieces of equipment you need for a home gym. It depends on what it is you're trying to accomplish. How can I tell you what you're trying to accomplish? I can't do that. Again, that probably costs me money and it costs me watch time and it costs me subscribers, but I gotta be true. I gotta say what's true. Jay said, I've seen the ethics in your content from day one. I'm very careful who I follow. He follows Kurt, Carp, No Fate, and Jim Crafter and me. So, hey, I'm telling you, that's a solid list right there. And those aren't even necessarily the most popular people. They're people who are much bigger than we are on YouTube. But I can say that everybody you named is an ethical dude. I salute that list 100%. All right, so we got my guy Andy from Bremmy. He is backstage. Let me go ahead and, because I asked for it, I'm going to show actual footage of Rory Ellis in Afghanistan lifting. Let's go ahead. I want to show this right now. This is actual footage from Afghanistan. All right, bam. Look at this guy. Lean and mean. Look at that. Man, I'm smiling because we had all these so you guys saw me lifting in the bunker, but then I also had outside so you guys saw this, like me lifting in that underground bunker, some benching on some sandbags. Well, outside the bunker, we had built some pull-up bars out of wood and dip stands from wood. And then for cardio, you pretty much worked, we did our work, or we also would go like for a jog. So if you go back, you see like some older pictures from when I was in Iraq, 04, 05, you see people like running, doing a PT run, and they're running with their rifles because you're still in the combat zone. So you had to, everywhere you went, you had to have a rifle with a combat load, right? Well, a certain number of rounds with it in case, some popped off. So that was like one of the, it sounds weird to say that a war zone was one of the best times in my life, but it kind of was in a lot of ways. And I'm always grateful to have had the opportunity to experience that. Rory says that those plates look like 35s, but they're really 100-kilogram plates. Hey, man, you were overseas. I trust you. All right. So let's go ahead. It is now 8:55. It's a little bit early, but let's go ahead because I see that Andy is backstage. So we see we can't get him on here earlier. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to the Pacific time zone. Good morning. Welcome to Up Way Too Early with Garage Gym Life. I'm John Graves III. I'm the founder of Garage Gym Life. Thank you guys for joining us. We've been at it since 6 o'clock Eastern time. So next week, get up a little bit earlier. Check out the show. Hang out with us. We have a good time. And we have a mix of guests. I'll let you guys come on and we talk about during Free for All Friday, which we just finished. You guys can talk about anything home gym related you want. We have a lot of fun throughout the segment. And if you're just watching right now and you've been watching, jump in the live chat and let us know that you're here, because we love hearing input from people who are new to the show. If you're watching on replay, throw your comments in the comment section. Let us know everything, that your reactions to everything that you saw. If you're listening to the Podbean version, come check us out on YouTube as well. And if you can come and check it out live, we are glad to have you. But there is one thing that I definitely need you guys to understand, that you don't have to just watch. If you would like to kit out your home gym and make it the best gym in town, you can actually do that by hitting up our friends over at Freedom Fitness Equipment and getting one of our Garage Gym Life banners. Here's how to do it. Hey, if you're a home gym owner, you should know that nothing puts the finishing touch on your home gym like one of our high-quality laminated vinyl banners. These banners can be found in home gyms around the world, where home gym owners are pushing themselves daily to achieve their fitness goals. All you have to do to add one of these premium banners to your home gym space is visit our friends at freedomfitnessequipment.com to place your order. And Ashton and the crew at Freedom Fitness will get your banner shipped securely to you anywhere in the United States. Unlike flimsy gym flags that fade over time and get tattered if they're exposed to the elements, our banners are made of heavy-duty vinyl and laminated to protect the colors from sun damage, so they'll look good for years to come. In fact, once you receive your banner and hang it up, you never have to take it down unless you want to clean it, which is easy to do with soap and water. Then you can just hang it back up to proudly display your membership in the worldwide Garage Gym Life family. So visit freedomfitnessequipment.com to get your banner today. And don't forget to post a pic and tag at Garage Gym Life on Instagram when you hang up your banner, so we can shout you out and say thank you for your support. Man, I need to update that picture in the video, because Jay's home gym is the last image with the banner. I need to update it because he's got more stuff in there now. Let's jump in the comment section, and then we're going to bring Andy on. So Eric said that 2020 and 2023 really changed how he looked at new equipment. He said during that time, if you could get it in, it was cheaper or the same to buy it directly from the manufacturer. Yeah, because realistically, they were buying because you had to deal with the shipping thing. And then during lockdown, especially, you weren't, you didn't necessarily have access to the shipping carriers. But what also happened is you had a bunch of companies jump into the market. And at first, I think that it caused a bunch of scarcity, because steel prices went up because steel was scarce, because everybody's going to the same steel the same steel suppliers to get equipment so that they could get steel to make their equipment. And then I think what caused the prices to come down, David Dennis from Gorilla String, who was first to tell me it was happening, was that people started going back to the public gyms. So all these people who had bought equipment started going back to public gyms. And when they went back to the public gyms, they, you had people like, I had a friend who put a bench in his kitchen. His wife wasn't about to let that bench stay in the kitchen when he went back to the public gym. Then you had somebody else who I know of who had like all their stuff was in their dining room. Well, they're getting rid of that stuff and they started putting it on the used marketplace. And so the brand new equipment suppliers they were competing against used equipment. And so the prices started coming down. Plus there was a lot more out there. So you kind of need to like just stay on top of what's out there and what's available. But that entire lockdown pandemic period was just crazy. And one of Carp said that the used market is starting to come back, but it's still not like it was prior to that. So I brought up the used marketplace. I'm sorry, I brought up like the brands that started during lockdown, and I'm not sure if Bremmy is one of those companies. So I'm actually eager to find out about his brand. So let's go ahead and give a warm welcome to my guy Andy from Bremmy.
What's up, Durham?
What's up, my man? How you doing, man?
Can you hear me all right? I can't really hear myself, but I can.
No,
hear
yeah,
you fine.
you're in here, right?
Yep.
Nice to have you here, man. I like to give people like the intro music so that you can feel welcome, like you feel like the star that you are.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
Now I don't know how old you are, but you know there's a song by Biggie Smalls. It's called "Kicking the Door."
Right? In the 4/4.
Yeah, so you heard like so it's the what you call the sound is like boom, 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 the Biggie.
Yes,
Biggie,
sir.
right? All right. So how many times have you been going down the road listening to that and you said Bremmy instead of Biggie?
Bremmy, you get that Biggie voice every time.
Every time. There you go.
Hey, let me try this without the headphones because I can't
now
really hear.
Because now I do it. Ever since I found out about ever since I found out about your company, whenever I hear that song, for some reason I hear Bremmy now instead of Biggie. So you're doing something right. You're doing something right. The word is out. You're on my mind.
Appreciate that.
Oh, definitely, man. So I'm looking underneath your tagline. It says Bremmy Products. That's the first thing I want to know. Because my first question was actually, what's the name of the company? Right? I get that it's Bremmy, but is it Bremmy? You know, normally it's Bremmy Strength, Bremmy Equipment, Bremmy Strong. I was like, what is Bremmy Customs? What is this thing called? So it's Bremmy Products. Is that right?
It's currently Bremmy Products. It's we've kind of been talking about it. I'm probably going to switch it to Bremmy Strong as the official title of it.
Because that's your Instagram, isn't it?
Yeah. Bremmy Strong is my Instagram. That's the email. It's just that's what everybody knows it as. But then when it's not just Bremmy Strong. Like I make products, so I wanted to. But it's just going to go back to Bremmy Strong, man. That's what everybody always says.
Well, so tell me this: where did the name Bremmy come from?
So Bremmy is my son.
Is that like Chinese for Bremmy? Chinese for Andy? What is that?
Yeah, I hope not. But my son's name is Braxton, and my daughter's name is Emerson. So, and we call her Emmy. So we just Bremmy.
But right there. So I'm looking at hanging out. So anybody who's watching right now, I'm gonna give them so there's a solo, so you can see it over his shoulder. That is such a cool logo right there, Bremmy. I love that, man. How
Appreciate
cool is
that, man.
How cool is that though? Like, do your kids know that you named the company after them?
Yeah, my daughter, it just kind of clicked with her. My son does. I don't think they understand like
They're just still too young.
Yeah, they just kind of think I'm crazy going out in the garage and lifting and stuff.
Like, what is he doing?
Yeah, but then I'm like, you realize that's your name. Like it'll be. I mean, I have like sent stuff to people overseas. I'm like, this is y'all's name, and people are wearing that or using that. Like, they're in Germany and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's weird to think about, but it won't hit them until they get a little bit older.
I got you. So we just lost my guy Jay. He's got to clock in for work. He's Jay, I hope Jay comes back in. Well, he usually checks out the replay as well. So, Jay, if you're watching this on the replay, you need to pay attention to Bremmy because, or to Andy, because Bremmy is a company that I feel fits an important niche in the home gym market. And what I mean by that is you've got big companies that make a bunch of different things, but you make custom stuff, right?
Yeah.
You make custom stuff for people. So sometimes you want something that doesn't exist. So you reach out to a company like yours to make this thing. It may or may not end up being put into regular production, but I think that's like one of the biggest things that makes companies like yours so important. How much of your business, and we're going to talk about like the background of your company in a little bit, but how much of what you do is custom versus like, hey, somebody sees this on your catalog and they want to buy it?
Now, well, really since I updated the weight pegs, that's been just a ton of it. Everybody has been ordering the stainless weight pegs. But there was probably like right before Christmas last year, it was like so many custom things. I posted one, it was like a custom cross member pulley that it just had 2 pulleys on it. You deleted one of your cross members and it went over top and you could use a weight peg, run your own cable line. And I posted that and I sold, like, everybody was hitting me up. And it is confusing because, you got metric and you got all this stuff you're trying to account for. But I ended up selling like 5 of that exact same thing. And that's what happens. If I get like one custom and people are like, what is it? I didn't even know that was a thing. And then they're like, can I order that too? And I'm like, yeah, this is what I just charged for. And, we just start working.
Well, we're going to talk about some of your products, including the thing that first jumped out to me. But before and you got, actually, it's over your shoulder. But before we dive too deep into what you have now, let's go back and let's gas up the time machine. Let's get in the DeLorean a little bit.
Let's get it. So
I assume you started making lifting equipment as a result of the pandemic, but your family already had a professional welding business. It's a professional welding services. Yep. So first thing, was it a hard sell to convince them, hey, we need to take some, business is tight. We don't know what this lockdown is going to do to the economy. Let's go away from some of the stuff that we were making that's making money already. Let's start making gym equipment. Was that a hard sell, or was it more like, hey, some of this other stuff is drying up and there's opportunity right now, let's jump on it? How did that happen?
I was building equipment before the pandemic. The pandemic is what kind of just made me put a ribbon on it, because it was like, my neighbor, so that's one thing. I've always hung out with like monsters. My neighbor, he could deadlift 600 pounds, and he would get me before I even started lifting. And he was like, I'm thinking about buying a squat rack, but I know you do metal work. Is this something you can do? And this is pre-pandemic. And I was like, yeah, dude, for sure. And I built the first, just a regular squat stand for him. And we started lifting over there. And it was just, then a couple other people in my neighborhood did the same thing. My buddy Coach, these guys you always see, like when I post stuff on Instagram, these are my boys, and they're lifting in the garage with me. But no, around pandemic time, that's when it was like everybody, the other people were like, hey, are you still selling this stuff? Are you making this stuff? And I was like, yeah, for sure.
So that's the squat rack right there?
Yeah, that was one of my neighbors, actually. That's just the regular squat stand style rack that I did. And,
okay.
There's probably about 6 of those in my neighborhood, because everybody they were like ready to start lifting.
Hey, you know what, man? But think about it, as a business owner, you know how tough it is to get the people who know you to buy stuff from you. Some people will buy stuff like, hey, I want to support you, kind of like, I feel it's almost like they feel sorry for you. But for people to actually spend real money with your business means a lot.
Yeah.
And so you got 6 of them to do it. That's shout out. That's a statement of quality.
I got good friends, and they hype me up too, man. They put it out there. They're like, yeah, I've been using this. This is better than what I had before, and I'm not knocking anybody, but it's just I put love into this stuff, man. I want to make sure
I
it's
can
right.
see it. I mean, there's this is a pull-up bar extension arms.
Yeah.
That so
and
they
that
go
product
ahead.
right there, that actually came because I'm 6'3", so I was like, I actually had to build a set because I needed them, and then when I posted it, everybody was like, dude, can you make more of this? I ended up making some more, but
yeah, because they're so here's the thing, it's infuriating. So you get all of these power racks that are made now for the home gym, right? But they're all made for like a basement.
Yep.
Because they're like 82, 84 inches, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, well, what about my garage? I mean, I'm not the tallest dude, but 84 inches is too tall. It's too short for me. Like if I want to do a pull-up, I have to bend my legs. If I want to do dips, I have to like be careful where I set the station because if I do weighted dips, the plates will hit the ground or the dumbbell will hit the ground, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, man, there's 100 inches. I measured it. There's 100 inches from the top of my mats to the bottom of my rafters. I can handle a 93, 94 inch rack.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's ideal.
Yeah. So it's like when I get a power rack and it's too short, something like this is to me a game changer because it means I can get a shorter rack and then still be able to do like pull-ups or whatever without having to, sacrifice the height. You know what I'm saying?
And that's where a lot of the stuff that I make is born. A lot of the custom stuff is because, somebody sees something and it's, new and shiny and they're like, oh man, but I'm not going to sell my whole squat rack and get something new. I want to adapt it to where I can work in it the same way other people are working in it. So, that's like the pulley cross members and stuff like that. All that is just, it's from other things that have already come on the market. And then I've just kind of taken a custom spin on them.
All right. So I'm going to keep this up as I ask you questions just so that people can see. So anybody who's watching live can kind of check out your products and see what's going on here. So shout out to everybody who's on Facebook and on YouTube watching. And if you have questions for Andy, go ahead, throw them in the live chat if you're watching live. If you're watching on replay, go ahead, put your questions in the comments, and I'll get Andy, if I see questions, if I can answer them, I answer them. But if not, I'll get Andy to just kind of like swing back through and answer your questions on the YouTube video. All right, so you guys can find out what you need to know about his company. But you mentioned your garage gym, so you're there in Chesapeake, Virginia. And is that where you come up with the ideas for the brand, or is it a combination of you training? Like, okay, so like the pull-up riser, obviously you're tall. That was something that was a problem you needed to solve. But, maybe you've got people training with you who aren't your height, but maybe they have an issue. They're like, oh, well, hey, this thing happened. And then you see, and then also the people who are on Instagram who find out you do what you do, and they reach out to you with stuff they need problems solved for, right? Talk about how much of your stuff is because you noticed a problem and how much of it is a customer reached out to you like, hey, can you fix this? Create something for me that solves this problem. Like, What's the ratio of that?
So a lot of the stuff, like I said, I love lifting. I want, my stuff, like I love premium quality stuff, but I want everything to work like the right way. So when I get ideas and stuff like that, obviously I work it out in the garage and I think about what's best for me, but I do think about like what's best for other people. But, it's all kind of spawned. A lot of the stuff has spawned from other people. Like my boy
like this
Steven,
storage rack.
Yeah, that storage rack right there. That was one that's in Germany right now. That's one of my neighbors. She ended up buying that, and that was a custom. And now that's one of my regular products. I've sold a couple of those.
So you had a neighbor. So she moved to Germany and took the rack with her, the storage rack with her.
Yeah,
nice.
She was military, and it was crazy. They just take a big box truck, load all their stuff up, and ship it back to Germany. But
I mean, that's crazy because a lot of times people just sell the stuff, but she's like, nope, I'm keeping that. That's
Yeah, no, they were hyped on. They were really good people, really fit, and they love this stuff too. They had a nice garage gym, so. But yeah, and then like the sleds, a lot of the stuff is I train, like I said, I train with monsters. My boy Steven too, he was like, we needed a sled one day for one of the workouts, and I was like, all right, I got to build one. I got to go make this real quick before we can do this workout on Saturday, and that's when you make one. Yeah, the stackable sled.
Oh, wait a minute, that's it right there. I knew it was different. It's a stackable sled, so that's the one right there that you made. Okay.
Yeah,
and that's what it looks like when you're using it. Okay.
Yeah, we used that a few workouts, and then Andre at Shark City, that was the custom that you saw on there. A lot of power lifters were getting into the sled pulls and drags and stuff like that, and they were like, I want some that's not going to take up a ton of room, so those just sit together. He sets them to the side, and they could pull out 4 or 5 of them at the time and not take up a ton of space. Like, I mean, those prowlers or whatever they're called, they're awesome too, but if you're literally just doing drags or pulls, like that's more than enough for you.
Man, so you've got so you said, all right, we're going to be doing sled drags, and you're like, okay, I got to make a sled. Like, you didn't say I'm going to buy a sled. I guess because you were doing drags, like you only had like 2 days, so turnaround time if you actually bought something from somebody from another company, it's going to take a minute. Like when I needed a sled, I got to use tire, and I made one, right? Yeah. But what's the ratio of equipment in your gym that's you've created versus like you're like, I'm just gonna buy that? Do you prefer to just make equipment as opposed to buying it where possible?
Majority of the time, but there is some stuff that is just so frustrating, and I know like some of the other people out there like Black Widow, like they probably know this, but if it's got tons of custom plastic parts and stuff like that, and you don't have machinery, CNC machinery, it's like that stuff is such a headache. Like metal is the easy part of it, but if you're drilling and tapping a million holes in one thing for plastic, you break a tap in there and you're fighting that for 2 hours, like you get really sick of that really quick. But I personally, all my cardio equipment and stuff I bought. I got the rowers, the C2 bike, and all that stuff. But I've supported like a bunch of other. I've got some Mutant Metal stuff. I am going to buy some stuff from Dean over at Black Widow. I'm on that I think it's a VCR bar or something like that.
Okay.
But I try to support the little guys too, and I say little, but some of those guys are killing it. But as compared to like Rogue or something, and I'm not knocking Rogue either. I got some.
I get stuff, it. Yeah,
I got some Titan stuff too.
But. So, Carp went ahead and said the things that caught his eye were the things that caught my eye in terms of your product line. He said that your J cups and your snapback monolift attachments. So, no joke, when I was looking for monolift attachments, yours, and I'll go ahead and I'll pull these up right here. Yours were one of the ones that I was looking at, and I ended up going with the ones that I got from Crandall Fitness because I already knew Sean. Mm-hmm. But these were the ones that I was looking. I said, "Oh yeah, okay, let's check this out." So you've got them for. Oh, and another thing was, I was trying to find something with a 1-inch pin. Now Sean didn't have Sean's isn't a 1-inch pin either, but that was the other thing, right? So first thing I'm gonna ask is why don't you have 1-inch pins? Why don't you guys make 1-inch pins? It's not just you. Well, why don't you guys make these with 1-inch pins?
That I do now. I didn't for the longest because I was trying for a while just to be the 5/8 guy. I was like, I'm gonna do that because I mean I got love for the 5/8 community. A lot of people still use those, and they are perfectly fine.
The 5/8 community
because it's like everybody's like, 1 inch is the true thing. We got to go 1-inch hardware. Like it's safer. No, you are
of all the hills to die on. Okay.
Yeah, you are never ever gonna snap a 5/8 pin. I promise you. But so that's majority of that stuff. If you look, a lot of it is 5/8 only because that's what I built it because that's what I had. That's what everybody I had my products for had. But eventually I ended up, just because I had so many people asking for 1-inch stuff, that my new rack that I just built is 1-inch.
Yeah.
I still have 5/8.
You look like you're in pain just even saying it. You feel like you've betrayed all your principles.
They got me, man. They finally took me over.
Look, you're in a safe space, okay? If you're in a safe space, it's okay.
I needed to vent this out, man.
I want you to know that I'm firmly in the 1-inch community, okay? But I don't have any emotional, not even emotional. I don't have any like, oh, well, I've got scientific studies and data that says that 5/8, whatever. I think the main reason is because I've got custom attachments. So my first real rack was a Dyna Body rack, and it was it had 1-inch holes. So when I got attachments, and I had that for years. So when I got attachments, I got them to fit that rack. So they're 1-inch. So now that I go through racks, I typically prefer racks that are 1-inch because I want to be able to use my attachments, right? Yeah. So unless the rack comes with attachments, I want to be able to use my attachments with it. But that drives me crazy because there's some things like my monolift arms, I'm not able to really use them with most power racks that I review because Jake said the 5/8 community needs a t-shirt. Uh-oh. Hey, there you go. That could be your t-shirt.
That's the next Bremmy product right there.
Oh my God. But yeah, it's like I can't use my monolift arms with a lot of power racks, which is annoying because I'm at the point now in my bench press training cycle where the weight's heavy and I screw up my bench. I get in the setup and then I screw it. I'm like doing the junk while I'm talking to you. Anyway, I get in my setup and then I screw it up because I can't unrack the weight.
Yeah.
Because
there's a lot of
setup is it.
There's a lot of people that are like, oh, monoliths are a waste. Well, if you bench with monoliths, you know there is a humongous difference. Humongous.
Heck yeah. You're getting the bar where at your strongest position, you're getting the bar where a good handoff person would hand it to you, as opposed to over your head where you're kind of, compromised. Rory said it's the VHS bar. He said VCR was along the same mindset though.
Hey, you asked me how old I was.
Hey, Betamax or PAL, man. That's how I know. Yeah.
The Atari bar.
There you go. I gotta go. Commodore 64, man. You know what you know about that?
Oh, come on, man. You're really showing the age now.
Let's see. So Jared says he has the original VHS bar, and you won't be disappointed. So yeah, Dean does good work, man. Anybody watching this knows. So Black Widow training gear. If you're looking for equipment, Dean does really good work. He had some of his pull-up, the pull-up bar, the cross member, that was a pull-up bar for his power rack at Home Gym Con, had probably the best grip I've ever felt. It's not knurling, but it's just very, very grippy. I was like, man, you wouldn't even need to use chalk. And I've seen a broad spectrum of stuff, like with pull-up handles, like because your hands start getting sweaty. And I'm talking about the PR 5000. I don't like the grip on the pull-up bar because as soon as your hands get sweaty, my buddy has one, and your hands get sweaty, and he said he has to put chalk on his hands. So that's not even, that's a company that makes great products. But I would say that Dean's the grip surface for his pull-up handles are way superior. So Patrick said, I tried monos for the first time around at a friend's house and instantly bought some, I guess those are Mutant Metals snapbacks. And he's hyped to use them in tandem with his upcoming Bremmy spotters. Oh man, goodness. I'm telling you, that's the only thing about sometimes, because it's funny because sometimes the snapback for the not for the necessarily the Mutant Metals, but just in general for monos is it snaps back, and sometimes it can actually knock like a pin out. Yeah, if it's like too aggressive with the way it comes back. But I'm a huge fan of anytime I can use a monolith attachment. I'm like, yeah, life is good right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Home Gym Discord has been hitting me up. I'll show these real quick.
Go ahead, yeah. Because I'm gonna go to next. We're gonna talk about Massonomic.
Yeah, these are the custom spotters.
Nice. Look at that.
I've been working on. but they're
I
all
like
one
that.
piece.
What's
But I wasn't gonna show them yet because they're not done. I know
man.
that some of those Discord guys were probably joining in to see if I had something on them.
Well, let me ask you this question, because I'll get you to show it one more time. All right. I think I kind of like the unfinished look there. Do you ever get people who are like, "Hey, man, just send it to me looking just like that"?
All the time.
You know?
That's one thing is like people like the beat up look, and I just
Man, I'm saying that patina, is it patina? I guess.
Patina.
Yeah, that looks really, really nice, man.
Yeah. And these, the cool thing about these is they're going to be exactly 30 inches, well, right under 30 inches, or right under 24 inches. So they're going to be like, they could be half rack spotter arms, or they could be like a full spotter arm in your cage. So you can pin through the front of them and through the back. So
What's your load rating going to be on those?
I have no. It's going to be very high, but I that's one of those things I'm going to have to get.
It's in production. We don't know yet. All right.
I got to get a barbell that I'm ready to destroy, so I can actually drop some crazy weight on it.
So let's think about this now. So I have not thought about this up until this moment. Like, we're doing this in real time. Would it be better to use a barbell, like a beater bar, or to just make like an axle bar, or that you don't really care about, and then drop it like that? Or would a beater bar be better because of the flex?
Well, if I'm testing it, I'm going to use something cheap. I mean, and I'm not trying to sound like this, but if somebody's buying like a product like that from me, they're spending more money. They have like a custom. This is their hobby too. Yeah. And I have a lot of hobbyist dudes that hit me up, or girls that are very, very strong. So I want to use it in like the exact same application.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So like, if you were to fail a lip, you're gonna. Yeah. Which those tests are cool. They're fun to watch, but nobody is ever just throwing a barbell from over their head and landing on spotters.
Yeah. So from what I've seen, because I do play-by-play for powerlifting live streams quite a bit, and from what I've seen, especially in the bench, if it's gonna drop just a little bit shy of lockout.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like, because basically your sticking point, especially if it's raw, your sticking point is going to be just about maybe 2 hand widths above your chest, right? Depending on where your strength level, right? And so as it gets difficult, that's when your hand discipline, especially if you don't have your wrist wraps on correctly, like if your wrist can actually move in the wrist wrap, that's when your hand's going to rotate forward. And that's when the bar falls. So it's not going to fall. Typically, it's not going to fall from lockout because that's your strongest position.
Exactly.
It's going to be when you're trying to go back to lockout. And it usually doesn't fall when you're coming down unless you have an injury. So I have had, but even then, when I injure my chest in a meet, I strained my pec, I still had enough strength to control it on the way down, right?
Yep.
So usually it doesn't drop unless you're going back up and your wrist rotates. And I've dropped like 225 on my chest. I didn't enjoy it. But I've seen people drop much more than that, like where it just gives out and it falls. So to go back to your point, if somebody's going to just drop it from a forklift, you're like, well, whose chest is that big?
What 9 foot tall guy do you have that's just dropping a barbell?
Seriously, right? But, and then from the standpoint of squatting in it coming off your back, a lot of times people don't fail backwards like that. I have seen it happen. I saw a guy fail like 700 pounds in a meet, and he failed, but he went down with the weight. And so the spotter straps, there was a monolift, and the spotter straps caught it. So I like the fact that you're using it under like real-time conditions, because physics also plays a factor.
Absolutely.
Because the higher up something drops, the more it doesn't weigh more, but you know what I'm saying? Like you got the velocity of it. It's gonna be added to it as well. So Joey is a fan of the spotters right there. So you may have just gotten a sale. That's what I like. Well, that's what I like when people come on the show and they have a brand and people start saying, "Oh, hey, what's the website? I want to try that." I'm like, that's the goal. I want people to find out about what you do, and I want them to place orders. I don't need promo codes and affiliate links. I just want people to just find out that your stuff is out there, man.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I think I follow Joey. Joey's a strong dude too, so I might have to.
Joey Echeverria, that's my guy.
I'm glad you said his last name too, because I would have never ever been able.
Man,
to
all that Spanish I took in school had to be good.
Nice.
Let's talk about your UPS riser, because that seems like something that was created to meet a specific person's need. Was that actually, let me be good and actually pull it up so people can see what I'm talking about. Your UPS riser here. Was this something that you created for yourself, or was it another custom order?
That was
and talk about what it's for too, like what it does, why you made it.
Yeah, so basically what you get with that, you get the cross member, and I did 2 of these, but the cross members I did 2 different lengths because of just the way people wanted them to look. But some people like the same thing. They have the shorter rack, but they want to use, the UPS riser or the UPS, so they don't have the range of motion that they want. So this allows them to get, an adjustment on, 2-inch increments. I've done those at custom heights too. That's one of the things. A lot of these things, like I put on my website, people don't go directly to the website and order it. They'll go and then email me, hey, I want this, but I want it this way. Can you make it something different? And that's for a great customer, this dude Chase. He's got a couple custom things from me. He's a really good guy.
So right there, custom made for 5/8 and 1-inch racks. There you go.
Still got love for him.
Still got love for him. There you go. You didn't forget where you came from.
No, still here. Still here.
Now let's talk about this. Other than the obvious advantages of being able to problem solve, and you can obviously test prototypes, what would you say is the main value for you as a business owner of also being a garage gym owner?
Well, the main thing is that I work, man. It's like if I'm not in my shop, I'm at home, I'm answering emails, I'm answering Instagram stuff. And so I'm a 4 a.m. guy. I lift at 4 a.m. and that way, because I got to be to work. I get here like 5:45, 6 o'clock. But
wow. Okay.
So I gotta make sure that I get it done, because I have, I got kids and I gotta help them with homework and dinner and all that stuff. So if I didn't have the home gym, I would not have time. There's no way I could drive to a gym. And I say that, but I still, I have friends with gyms. Like I said, Shark City Barbell. I still go there occasionally and I lift, and I got a powerlifting meet coming up, so Andre's going to be helping me with some stuff. But if I didn't have the home gym, I would not be as avid as I am. I would definitely not nerd out the way that I do, because I love all these products. I love the stuff other companies make. And that garage gym competition is a great thing too. That kept me going for a while. So
I'm just establishing, because everybody doesn't know the legend that is Andy Pandy. But they don't know about the legend that is Andy Pandy. So I'm establishing your street cred here. This dude actually has a home gym, and he does compete in the garage gym competition. That's his squat right there. This is him benching. So you see that you still got the knee sleeves on. So obviously this happened roughly around the same time. So
this is all. I tried to keep this one because I knew that I was going to do a meet soon. So I was like, let me do it as clean as I can to a meet. Okay. Obviously, I didn't have a singlet or anything on, but
sure. Well, let me ask you this while we're looking at this. Did you make this rack?
Yeah.
Or did you make the attachments?
Nope. I made that. If you buy the 4-post 5/8 from me, that's what it's going to look like.
Okay. Let's go back.
I have one more that I did. Yeah, and
then it's got, I like this actually, because it shows a bunch of your products. That's what I mean. Like, you get to problem solve and prototype test and stuff like that.
Yeah, that rack is actually for sale. I just built my new one, and that one, if one of my buddies in the neighborhood doesn't get it, I'll.
So that exact rack is for sale right there.
Yeah, that
all
rack.
Right, look, if you are watching this right now, there you go. You can get your hands on a piece of history. Get your hands on a piece of history right now.
It has been lifted, and it has had some strong, like I said, my boy Steven, Sasha, coach, those guys, they are strong dudes. There's been 500-600 pound squats in there. Like It's not just a regular garage gym rack. There's a lot of attachments on that thing too.
I see that. And so you got the monolift. So it comes with all that's on it. The monolift attachments, all that stuff is going to be part of the sale.
Yep. Yeah. The spotters, the straps.
You hesitated a little bit. Like, he's like, I don't know.
I'm looking at the video. I'm like, wait, which thing am I going to keep up there? No, I'm just.
Okay. How much of this are you letting go of? Okay. But everything's in there. Okay. All right. Nice. Yeah, man. That's some good lifts too. So, all right. All right. So let's jump into the chat here. Joey said, thanks for the kind words. Odin said 4 a.m. lifter stand up, and he has apparently ordered some Bremmy spotters.
Yeah, he's one of the Discord guys that's been hitting me up about him.
That's a cool dude, man. He comes and he checks out our show, checks out my show every I don't know, not every Friday, but he's here quite often. And I'm a huge fan. I'm a fan of people who are a fan of me. So, you know,
you got a good product. I've watched for a while too.
Man, I appreciate it. And it's like, when I tell people, so you know how like you feel when you make something and people like it and then they post stuff or whatever about it. That's how I feel when people tell me that they like the show or when they share the show link or anything like that. Because, it doesn't take me. I wouldn't say it takes me as long to put together a show episode as it does for you to make something. But this is quite literally my dream as far as like a retirement plan. I'll say my dream is to be able to retire and do this. And even go beyond what I do now, you know what I mean? Because it's, you know, I love meeting people, find out about their journey, and helping you guys tell your stories. So, my next question that I sent you was about your J cups. So let's go ahead and let's show them right now, because you've got those right here. Those are the ones you made, the Massonomics ones.
No, these are actually a different pair I've had for a while. They have a slight blemish on them, so I hadn't sold them yet. I can't even find the blemish.
Scratch and dent sale.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I've talked to a couple guys that were in the chat earlier, but these things are sweet, man. They got the pinhole, so you know you don't get any swing, no lateral movement.
I like that.
Steel laser cut logos.
Man,
everywhere.
Don't you make me go? Those are those aren't for sale anymore. They're going. Hey, put that back down. Put it down where people can't see it.
Sold.
Yeah, those are sold. All right. So here's a question. Literally though, the things that I like about them is a lot of times when you got sandwich J cups, I don't like the fact that, because you compete in powerlifting, so you know what I'm about to say. The lip is too high. Mm-hmm. And so you go and you rack your weight, whether it's, let's say it's squats, right? If you so for anybody who doesn't compete in powerlifting or doesn't squat low bar, when you set the bar, a lot of times the bar tends to move down a little bit during the set. Not because of your placement is wrong, but because your shoulders open up. So the bar will settle. So when you stand back up to go rack the weight, a lot of times it's lower than it was when you unracked the weight. And it's definitely lower. Have you done, how many meets have you done?
I haven't. I'm doing my first one. The only thing that I'm
right now. All right.
Yeah, but I have. I mean, I've done everything in the same powerlifting setting. Like I said, I've had people that have showed me in the actual the way of the powerlifting meet how it's going to go and everything.
All right, so you know what I'm about to say. Then it's about when you're going to get your rack height. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times when people get their rack height, especially when they're tall, they go get their rack height. They typically do it with an empty bar. So they go get their rack height for that piece of equipment, and it is going to always be higher.
Yeah.
Because you probably didn't warm up before you got your rack height. And because there's no weight on the bar, it's going to sit a little higher on your shoulders, right? So then I see people go to a meet, especially if it's their first time, and then you always end up having to lower their rack height, whether it's a monolift or a competition rack. They always end up having to lower the rack height because you end up having to tiptoe, right? And so I don't like sandwich J cups that have a lip that's too high because of that problem. It's like I just finished a set. I'm tired. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I don't want to do a calf raise after I just squatted.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look here, like This, it's only like 1.25 inches. Like the barbell sits up out of it a little bit.
Exactly.
But I did want it to be safe. If you're using like a safety squat bar or something like that, that's a 2-inch diameter. Like that's what I have in my house. And, you know, I don't want it to hit in here and not be able to somehow come out. So I want the lip to be big enough, but at the same time, you know, you don't want it to get in the way. And this, a lot of people are not cool with this style. And it's like, there's people that are like, that is the only way. I don't want the bar rolling back and forth in here. I don't want any play. I want to just pick it up, be able to push into it if I'm doing a squat.
Yeah.
You know? And because, I mean, if you're going heavy on squats, I like the roller attachments too. I make some, I got some in the works, but if you're getting in there and you're able to do all this, it's just, you don't feel sturdy in it. You don't feel like you're getting ready to do a max effort.
So like, I don't mind roller J cups. But really, the advantage of a roller J cup is just centering yourself on the bar, right? And especially if, you know, people don't like messing up the knurling on their bar and all that, right?
Yep.
Well, all I'm gonna say is this: unless you actually bench with your hands way out there, you probably are never going to touch that part of your bar.
Yeah. No.
Now, I'm not saying. I mean, I know people who bench that far out. I know people whose squat mobility is such that their hands are that far out. I get it.
Yeah.
But for most people I know, your hands don't even touch that. They don't even touch that part of the bar. It's just aesthetics. I'm like, man, whatever. So it is what it is. So I mentioned the Massonomics ones. And that audience seems to be pretty, you know, from me just outside looking in, they seem to be very tight knit. And I think it's awesome to see how much you guys support each other. You made Massonomics J cups, and I saw the flag and all that. How much impact has that community had on your success?
Those dudes are all awesome. Like, I have not met a bad person from crew. Like oh yeah, by the way, Big Keith told me to say what's up. But
Keith Honeycutt? Oh, that's my dude. I actually owe him. So last year, not to cut you off, but last year, this past year at Home Gym Con, I was deadlifting. I was trying to get established a 1 rep max for conventional because I don't pull conventional typically. And because I was trying to get a true max, I was like not trying to like load a ton of weight. And Keith loaded the weight for me. All right. And I mean, I only went up to like 495, but still.
That's a lot of weight, man. That is very, very strong. I don't care what anybody says.
Dudes too, so I'm just like, honest, you know, whatever. But I mean, it's still like that's a lot of weight to be loading, you know, yourself. You know what I'm saying? And so shout out to him. So Keith, if you end up watching this, I owe you. I haven't forgotten. I'm gonna return the favor. That's a good dude. The No One Seller. I'm a fan.
Those guys are all great though. Tanner and Tommy both.
You
know, they've helped me with stuff, and I mean, like. Just one time I had put on a post, like, I mean, because owning a small business, especially, you know, like even after COVID and all this stuff, it is the most stressful thing that any human can do. And I posted up something like, you know, just getting through this lift, felt like crap, had been fighting some depression lately. And I had like 6 DMs just from dudes just like, yo, are you all right? You know, are you good? And that sucks. I don't want you to go through that. And like dudes I never met. And I mean, I have, you know, friendships with a lot of these people that I've never met before. And they all support everything. They, you know, they buy stuff. And if they got companies, I buy stuff from them. It's just good people, man.
So you're part of the Home Gym Discord. That is a tight-knit group as well.
Absolutely.
And they're very supportive. They will come for you if they think that somebody's copying your stuff.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you this though, because you've got like your AAP, what's it, the arm accessory pad, I think.
Adjustable accessory pad.
Adjustable accessory pad. Okay, you've got that. You've got your cable attachment. How did you have to like clear it? I don't know what, because I'm not a member of the Home Gym Discord anymore. Really, it's just mostly just a time issue. Yeah. But did you have to like kind of clear it with like Darko and say, hey man, I'm about to make a bar and I don't want you, I'm not stealing I'm not taking your idea, but I'm just giving you a heads up or whatever. Like, how does that work for you guys?
With some of the stuff, and It's weird you're asking this because I just had a conversation with Darko because he
I'm an investigative journalist.
I see, man, you've been doing
You don't know whose phone I tap, okay?
He posted that thresher pad and that
Yeah.
Stray Dog had made something really similar. And I went back and messaged him and I was like, dude, this is from like 8 years ago. I want to show you this. I'm not going to sell it. I have no plans. I made it because I wanted to use it. And it looks exactly like it. And I was like, I might have stole your idea. No, this is actually something I didn't put on the website.
Okay.
But yeah, and he was like, I don't know, man. And then he sent me something that was like super old where he posted it. And I was like, I probably subconsciously stole this from you. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I don't know. There's so much stuff that gets innovated now. It's hard not to pick up. Like, and I did get some hate on this. They were like, what differentiates this from the Bulldog pad? And you know, this was a much lighter weight item as opposed to the Bulldog pad. This was more for, you know, one arm movement, single movements. You can lean on it. You can do certain. Yeah, I do a lot of like chest supported dumbbell rows and stuff on it. But you know, it's just
you wouldn't stand on it and do like Jefferson curls.
No, a lot of the time, and this is gonna sound bad, but it's a comfortable seat. I'll put it down. I'll just sit Hey, I'll have my coffee and I'll sit.
You gotta then create your own working conditions, okay? You gotta,
yeah, man.
Probably like it looks like a good little desk too, because that's another thing. So I have I got the Bells of Steel seal row pad, and there are times when I just stick it on it because I need a desk.
Yeah,
because I'm like, you know, putting stuff. It may not end up actually even in the video, but I just need something to set stuff on. So I just set it up to just it's flat, good. I'll just stick stuff on it.
Everything can become a table in the home gym, man.
There's no hate over here. I want to look at something because I brought it up, but you also got there you go, your Bremmy cable attachment.
Yep.
So this is 30-inch wide. So let me tell you, so you see the holes right there, right?
Yep.
So when Jim Penn came out with a D handlebar, then I did a review of it, and you guys can see it. It's on the channel. I'll link it if anybody wants to watch it. I'll put the link in the video description. But I asked them, I said, so what are these holes in it for, right? And I didn't know what the holes were for. So I just naturally assumed that it was so that you could put the carabiners in different places and pull from different, you know, basically give yourself different angles, right? And then I remember they came back to me because I DM'd them on Instagram. I said, hey, by the way, I said this in the video, you know, just want to make sure it's correct. And they said, no, we put holes in it to cut down on the weight for shipping. And I was like, but everybody I've seen, but think about it now. They don't have the guys from Gym Pin. They're good dudes, but they work out at a public gym.
Yeah.
Right. So if you need a different attachment or a different angle, you just grab a different attachment. Right.
Yeah.
But everybody I know who ever gets one of these bars and has a home gym does what I did with it, which is you use the different holes for to give yourself different things.
And that's, I got this is one that was at my house, but I literally built this because I needed one. I was like, I had the handles and I was doing some programming that would have neutral grip pull downs and then superset and I would have to change stuff. And I literally just built that because I needed it. And then somebody saw it on my Instagram and they were like, do you sell those? I was like, I can.
Sure. Okay. I could if you want. Yeah. So I'll say this, and this comes kind of to me from like my martial arts background, because when I started doing Jeet Kune Do, the one of the things was people would say, oh, well, the people were very protective about their techniques, right? Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like now where you just like I guess people like it's popular to go do jujitsu now. At the time, it wasn't, right? And so you go places and they talk about these secret techniques and whatever, right? And you could be doing something. And I remember my coach would get, it's so funny. It's like a Kung Fu movie. So like the Kung Fu school from across town would call, say, hey, you stole our technique. I'm not making this up. You stole our technique. And they'd get in an argument with him and they would come over to fight. I'm not making this up. They would show up. I'd show up to practice. And he said, hey, so we're probably gonna have to fight tonight. What? Okay. I'm like, seriously, like the school to say, yeah, these guys from across town or from over here, they said, they heard somebody went to them and said this, or they called me asking me this, and he got in an argument with them, and they said, and he would invite people to come over. And we went over to somebody's, like my first time fighting in the ring, we had to go over to this, they arranged it because it was an argument about whose kung fu is better, whose martial arts are better, right? And that was my first fight in the ring. They arranged it. He said, okay, well, I'll put 3 of my students against 3 of your students. All right, let's go.
That's the only way to settle it, man.
All right. So I say that, though, because ultimately my coach was like, look, every human being is designed essentially the same way. I mean, obviously some people have birth defects or whatever, but you got 2 arms and 2 legs. So how many different ways could you possibly throw a kick or throw a punch? And I kind of go back around to apply it to this. It's like, we've got, some variances in leverages and body sizes, but ultimately, if the thing is supposed to do the same thing, and it's supposed to meet a certain need, it's going to look like another thing that that fulfills a similar purpose, right?
Yep.
Like, how many different ways can you make a bow and arrow?
Do you see this back here? It's a lot shorter when you see this in person, because I did have somebody that hit me up about those, and they were like, that's just like Irwin Fitness. And I was like, well, it's not, because his is way longer, and the only reason that I didn't buy his is because I have a cross beam in my garage and it would have hit it. So I was like, well, I got to make some, and that's when I made them. And but somebody will see that, they'll see this product and they'll be like, that he's ripping off Irwin, or he's doing that. And it's not, it's a completely different thing when you get down to the actual dimensions. Like those spotter arms, there's only so many ways you can make a spotter arm. What makes that spotter arm? That's
kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it's 2.5-inch tube on the inside. It's got sandwich plates, but it serves different purposes. Like the people that want basically a spotter arm that can be a drop-in spotter arm for a full rack too. So
well, man, so Joey just said he's talking about he said another cool piece, he likes your ladder system, like an adjustable bench. He's talking about your AAP. About the AAP.
Appreciate that, Joey.
So we're almost at 9:50 right now. Time just flew by here. So now I'm gonna need to have you come back, because I'm not gonna get all the questions out. But I really enjoyed this. I want to say this. I want something. I don't want to leave without talking about this, because I know your family business has already dealt with this, because you were in the welding business first, right? But what are the hurdles that you guys face when you're trying to make a name for yourself? The marketplace is so crowded. You've got bigger brands, you've got smaller brands, you got Amazon brands from China that will undercut you on price. How do you set yourself apart?
Really, the only way that it's always worked, and for my dad, because my dad started the business 38 years ago or whatever it is, you just keep God first. Always, if you keep God your focus and you work, God appreciates hard work, and you are honest with people, you try to do the right thing, you don't screw people over, and you're fair. I mean, I'm not trying to be a millionaire from this stuff. I don't sell tons of gym equipment. Our family company does well, but it's really just because you have hard work, you have honesty and integrity, and that's what keeps you around. Because I'm not dumping tons of money into marketing. We have zero marketing. We just do this stuff ourselves. My wife she's the best. She works my office.
Well, hold on. I can vouch for you when you say you do things yourself, because I got evidence right here of a little bit of child labor going on.
Oh man, come on, don't show that. I will say that is not for gym equipment, so nobody try to sue me on this. But yeah, man, that's my boy. He did not enjoy the welding too much. He had a couple of sparks go down and hit him. He definitely doesn't have shorts on right there if you're looking.
Okay. Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, it's what it is. It's family it's so important, man, and
100%.
And just keeping it in the family, and and doing the right thing. That's the only thing that keeps you afloat.
Well, man, I showed that video because if that doesn't make people want to support you, I don't know what's wrong with them. Okay.
Appreciate you.
Jared says, but here's another thing is like, people don't like, you're under the radar a little bit. He said, Jared says, thanks for introducing Andy. He wasn't aware of Bremmy beforehand. You know, Dean from Black Widow, he's starting to get his name out there because he's become more active in the home gym community. He went to Home Gym Con and things like that. But Dean's been making stuff. So he's another person who kind of like, has that path. It's like where you're fighting against companies like that are bigger brands. My guy David from Gorilla Strength, same thing.
David's great too.
You know, and it's just kind of like I'm looking at it like, well, heck, he's got to. So I like David. Well, I like him anyway because we're buddies. But I think that I can see how it resonates because you can see like you're welding with your son, and now his son Kai has taken over part of the business because he grew up welding. Like just like your dad showed you the business, Absolutely. Now Kai is there. So like you can kind of see that family tree of keeping it in the family, and I think people need to know what they're supporting when they support a business like yours. You know,
and that's a huge thing with me because I just had a customer that we were emailing back and forth, and I told him, you know, because I think he got a little frustrated. And I was like responding in the same day to emails and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, I love that you're hitting me up and I really appreciate it. And I do have to tell you that I am the one building this stuff, answering the emails, running the money. My wife is, you know, she's helping me a ton too. My parents are a ton of help, but if you're buying from me, you're buying from me. You're supporting my family. So
100%. We're like, hey man, we're behind a little bit because my workers have to do their homework.
right.
This is awesome. This is a good place to stop. So Colossians 3:23-24, Christians are commanded to work hard, not for human masters, but as for the Lord, knowing they will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. 100%. Man, I love
that verse in my shop. So
I love the fact that you are unashamed of the gospel of Christ. And I think that I'm willing to do whatever I can to support businesses like yours and your business as well. I want to help you guys get the word out there. Anything I can do, man. And you know, I didn't even ask you, how much are you selling those J cups for? Over your shoulder.
We'll talk offline, man.
Oh, there you go. All right, show's over. All right, y'all get out of here.
Appreciate you having me on, man. I will definitely come back whenever. Just let me know.
Heck yeah, man. This was a lot of fun. All right. Thanks for being here, my man. That was Andy Downs. You guys go ahead and you make sure that you check out Bremmy Strong on Instagram. Let me go ahead and throw up his stuff up here. Check out Bremmy Strong on Instagram. You can DM him, as you heard during the interview, if you would like to get a custom piece of equipment. But before you DM him, please check out BremmyProducts.com because he might already have the thing that you're looking for on there. And then you might be able to just buy that, or you can always customize it. Or if you got a completely new idea, hit him up, Bremmy Strong on Instagram. And I appreciate him being here. Next week, we have another cool show for you guys. Let's see here. We got, once again, we're going to have my guy, Jack from Brim Hall Barbell is going to be making his debut. Getting a big tour early with Garage Gym Life. Plus, as I mentioned earlier, the Kurt Locker himself, the one and only Statty Daddy, is going to be stopping by to give us an update on the Strongman Throwdown at next year's Home Gym Con. So if you guys want to know everything that's happening with the show, you need to make sure you follow at Garage Gym Life on Threads, because that's where I give you guys the updates about what's happening behind the scenes, as well as let you guys know what is coming up on the show whenever we add new guests and everything else. Make sure that you guys are following there. But once again, thank you guys for all of your support. Couldn't do this show without you. I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing weekend. Peace. 2 fingers.